Chapter 302. This type of special lives blood essence potion was highly sought after within the human civilization, and once available, it was quickly sold out. One could hardly imagine how many three-headed ice wolves would have to be drained to create such a blood essence potion. These are all yours now. The indifferent man still had his back to Lin Yuan. Thank you, senior. Stay informed. At Freewub novel. Lin Yuan's expression was solemn as he spoke earnestly. Although it was true that any member of the human race who found this spatial entrance and entered would receive a gift from the indifferent man, Lin Yuan had indeed received a great benefit. I wonder if there's anything you'd like me to do, senior? Lin Yuan attempted cautiously. Anything? The indifferent man was slightly startled, then he smiled and said, I have been dead for so long, I no longer have old friends, so there's nothing much I need. Boom. At that moment, the small space where Lin Yuan was began to shake. You better leave quickly. This small space is about to collapse. The indifferent man raised his right hand. A streak of flowing light shot out and landed in Lin Yuan's hand. It was a storage bracelet. Inside were many treasures belonging to the indifferent man, Oin. Yes. Lin Yuan took the storage bracelet and immediately flew toward the entrance. The indifferent man, Oin, watched Lin Yuan's departing figure as his body began to crumble quickly. Wangyue Starfield. Tianxin Star. The indifferent man, Oin, murmured softly, then in the next moment, he completely disintegrated. Chiquan Main Star. 13 Peaks Great Hall. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. About everything that the radiant young spirit had experienced, Lin Yuan naturally synchronized his knowledge, sharing one consciousness, and could switch perspectives at any time. The battlefields of different races are fraught with danger. Aside from supreme beings, no one can ensure their survival, Lin Yuan thought to himself. The experiences of the 8th layer evolutionist, Oin, made him cautious. Even a small-sized otherworldly battlefield like Battlefield C24763 could cause an 8th layer evolutionist to stumble. But, today's human civilization is much better than before. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly emotional. In the era of Oin, the human civilization alliance had difficulties in wars against many different races around them, and in many aspects like foundation and support, they seemed somewhat lacking. The most obvious example was that the doppelganger skill was exceedingly rare during that time. Even 8th layer evolutionist Oin had not cultivated a doppelganger. Unlike now, where just the doppelganger skills listed under the red Kuan lineage number over 10. Although cultivating a doppelganger skill requires sacrificing a small portion of the soul and not every evolver is suitable for cultivating one, Freewub novel. It is much stronger than tens of thousands of years ago. Never mind. Let's continue cultivating. After a moment of reflection, Lin Yuan immersed himself once again in contemplating the spatial model. Aside from cultivating, Lin Yuan occasionally connected to the virtual world to interact with other evolvers. The clash of different perspectives and the combination of their against heaven's understanding often unexpectedly helped Lin Yuan. This person's insights might not be inferior to my teacher's. Lin Yuan entered the founder's circle of the virtual world and chatted briefly with a founder named Tay, thinking to himself. Lin Yuan and this Tay met through a post titled, Is it better to understand one rule deeply or many rules more superficially? This post, from 23,000 years ago, was left on the founder's forum by the founder, Tay. Lin Yuan often communicated with him, faintly feeling that Tay had broad vision. However, Lin Yuan tried searching the virtual world network but couldn't find any information related to Tay. While Lin Yuan was pondering, the founder named Tay sent another message. Many evolutionary paths of human civilization, which stage do you think is the most important? After reading this message, Lin Yuan pondered. From the 1st to 6th ranks of the martial Tao evolution path and even up to the 7th rank Lin Yuan was currently deciphering, plenty of information flashed through his mind. The 7th rank. After thinking it over, Lin Yuan responded. With deeper understanding of more and more basic spatial models, Lin Yuan was gradually perceiving the specific direction of the 7th stage martial Tao chapter. Once Lin Yuan truly opened the 7th rank chapter, his transformation would far surpass the previous 6 ranks. He should be back soon, right? After replying to Tay, Lin Yuan glanced in the direction of the alien battlefield. According to Lin Yuan's plan, he had sent his radiant young spirit to the battlefield of the different races to perceive the rules of spatial fluctuations. However, plans always fall behind changes. Lin Yuan intended to stay out of worldly affairs and avoid contact with other species, but instead, he gained the inheritance of an 8th layer evolutionist. Even on a medium-sized otherworldly battlefield, obtaining the inheritance of a treasure belonging to an 8th-layer powerhouse was an extremely rare opportunity. Lin Yuan had never considered this possibility because the chances were simply too low. But since it happened, Lin Yuan could only reluctantly accept it. In this situation, leaving that inheritance from the 8th-layer evolutionist, Oyin, in the possession of the Radiant Yang Spirit, and then letting the Radiant Yang Spirit stay in the perilous battlefield of different races, Lin Yuan found himself unable to sleep. He would not mind if the Radiant Yang Spirit perished, as it could be reformed in some time. But the loss of the 8th-layer evolutionist treasure, the 8th-layer armor, and the soul defense weapon, and 1,000 cubic universe crystals. If these were to be lost along with the fall of the Radiant Yang Spirit, Lin Yuan reckoned it would distress him for a long time. So right after the Radiant Yang Spirit left that small space, Lin Yuan instructed him to hurry back, deposit the many treasures with him, and then continue to the alien battlefield. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 303. After all, it's just a matter of over a month's time. Lin Yuan could afford the delay. At a far and remote location there stood a huge research planet. Great Scholar Tay watched the complicated characters flashing quickly on the screen in front of him. A moment later, a trace of fatigue appeared on the face of Great Scholar Tay. Let's see if that question has been answered. Deciding to take a break, Great Scholar Tay entered the founder's circle of the virtual world and opened his chat list with Lin Yuan. 7th rank. Seeing Lin Yuan's reply brought a smile to the face of Great Scholar Tay. Ha, this time you must be mistaken. Among the multiple evolutionary paths of human civilization, the most crucial stage is undoubtedly the 8th layer. To step into the 8th layer, one must master the technique of world opening. Create a world within oneself. With a world as the foundation, one can continue to ascend. Otherwise, it is very difficult to take even one step further with the flesh alone. Great Scholar Tay wore a proud but somewhat puzzled expression. He remembered that Lin Yuan should have mastered the rudimentary form of the world-opening technique, that perspective of governing myriad paths with a single path. Its core was the world-opening technique. So, even if unaware of the world-opening technique, one should understand the vast difference between the 8th and 7th rank. How could he still think the 7th rank is the most important? It shouldn't be, should it? How could such a mistake be made? Great Scholar Tay stroked his chin. Why the 7th rank? After some thought, Great Scholar Tay didn't immediately mock Lin Yuan. Instead, he sent a message asking for clarification. On Chiquan Main Star. Just as Lin Yuan was preparing to continue his cultivation, he received another question from the Tay founder. Why the 7th rank? Lin Yuan blinked. He believed the 7th rank to be the most important based entirely on the martial Tao evolution path. Because in Lin Yuan's concept, with Taiyin, Taiyang, Taiji, and the space rules, the 7th rank chapter he would create was expected to undergo the greatest transformation. With the enhancement of the space rules, the Taiji domain would evolve into the Taiji minor world. Stay immersed with Freeweb novel. That was why Lin Yuan thought the 7th rank is the most important. To contain myriad paths within a certain path, command myriad paths, integrating with the space rules. Lin Yuan shared some of the theories of the martial Tao evolution path 7th rank chapter quite casually. These theories, which Lin Yuan had realized these past days, were meaningless to others even if revealed. Without Lin Yuan's foundational research, it would be difficult for outsiders to delve into these theories. At a far and remote location there stood a huge research planet. Great Scholar Tay patiently waited, staring at the conversation. He decided that no matter what answer Lin Yuan provided later, he would counter with the technique of world opening to demonstrate the unquestionable importance of the 8th layer. Ding, the message arrived. Great Scholar Tay looked at it immediately. This? Great Scholar Tay was somewhat stunned. All the arguments he had prepared to respond with were suddenly withheld. Because the message Lin Yuan sent him was a kind of the world-opening technique. However, how could one use the world-opening technique at the 7th rank? Great Scholar Tay couldn't believe it. Almost in an instant, Great Scholar Tay began to calculate. Countless characters flickered before his eyes, attempting to prove the possibility of success based on the theories sent by Lin Yuan. More than an hour later, Great Scholar Tay closed his eyes. A long time afterward, Great Scholar Tay finally opened his eyes. It does indeed seem likely to succeed. His thoughts collected and his expression solemn, Great Scholar Tay replied in the chat box with Lin Yuan, "Who exactly are you, which evolutionary scholar? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 304 7th rank evolvers who wish to ascend to 8th rank evolvers find that the method of opening the world is crucial. It refers to creating an inner world within oneself, which is one of the prerequisites for a breakthrough to the 8th layer. Here, the inner world is not some minor space, but a real world in which life can flourish and pass down its heritage. Consider this: the physical bodies of human evolvers, when compared with those special life forms lurking deep within the cosmic starry skies that rival planets in size, are indeed too weak. For example, a starry sky wanderer Kuan, which can reach 6th rank at adulthood and devours planets as its food. A 6th rank human evolver is just as tasty a morsel in front of an adult starry sky wanderer Kuan. To not flee is to die. This is the great disparity brought by factors like physical capability, bloodline, species, and others. Under similar rank conditions, these special life forms are almost invincible. However, by the 8th layer, the gap between human evolvers and those special beings rapidly narrows and might even turn into an advantage for humans. The fundamental reason lies in the inner world opened up by the method of opening the world. With a world to support them, even if this world is not large, the full power of a complete world still lets the human evolvers attain an astonishing level of depth. To open the world and create an inner world, one must at least be at the 7th rank peak to hope to attempt it. It can only fully take shape at the 8th layer. However, from the information sent by Lin Yuan, great scholar Te saw the possibility of a 7th rank evolver opening the world. This is truly, from the perspective of great scholar Te, it was clear that Lin Yuan's theory came with many limitations and conditions. For instance, it required understanding all the space-based models at the 6th rank, and the Tao one controlled had to be perfect, and so on. Such a method was destined to be exclusive. Most ordinary evolvers simply didn't possess the insight. Only the true peak geniuses of humanity could hope to attempt this direction. Nonetheless, the theories proposed by Lin Yuan, compared with those conceived by human evolutionary scholars of the past about creating an inner world before the 8th layer, had a possible chance of realization. The evolutionary scholars of the past did indeed research methods to create an inner world before an 8th layer breakthrough, but there were many more conditions, often requiring the assistance of rare cosmic treasures. For example, one method involved consuming a world fruit at the 7th rank and then refining it with special techniques. But world fruits, how precious are they? To use them to open an inner world for a 7th rank evolver? Such a waste. Which evolutionary scholar? On Chikuan main star, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, staring at the message replied by Te, the founder, momentarily lost in thought. Evolutionary scholar. Lin Yuan did know that this was a treasure of human civilization. But to become an evolutionary scholar, strength was secondary. The key was to create a stable, complete, novel 8th layer evolutionary system. Over millions of years in the Chikuan star domain, only 3 evolutionary scholars were born, and these scholars had long since headed to the central star domain of human civilization. Is it because of those concepts I spoke of? Lin Yuan thought to himself, recalling the 7th stage martial Tao chapter concepts he shared with Te, the founder, which involved using Taiji and spatial rules to open a small world. However, this idea was only suitable for Lin Yuan. So far, only Lin Yuan managed to achieve it, not to say anything about others. Just fully understanding the basic spatial model at the 6th rank would be enough to block almost all evolvers. Of course, in Lin Yuan's vision, the 7th stage martial Tao contains many cultivation directions. Find your next adventure on M_VLE novel. Fire to comprehend the space rules was just one of them. Other martial arts evolvers, upon reaching the peak of 6th rank, if they cannot comprehend the space rules, may focus on the rules they excel at. But without the space rules they cannot create an inner world at the 7th rank. This was, after all, a trade-off, and Lin Yuan had no intention of noting in the 7th rank chapter that understanding the fundamental space model could lead to an early opening the world. It would cause other martial Tao evolvers to forcibly try to comprehend space rules at 6th rank, in pursuit of opening the world. I am not an evolutionary scholar, Lin Yuan replied. The martial path evolutionary path hasn't even begun to open a 7th rank chapter to this day, let alone commence an 8th layer part. Not an evolutionary scholar? Great scholar Te frowned. He also felt that Lin Yuan wasn't an evolutionary scholar and had sensed it during their previous conversation. But, if you're not an evolutionary scholar, how could you develop a direction and concept for 7th rankers to open an inner world? It wasn't that the great scholar Te looked down on evolvers below the evolutionary scholars, But without reaching that level, how could one have the soul power and computational ability to deduce such concepts? Could it be that such a genius truly exists in this world? For a moment, great scholar Te felt somewhat disinterested. Since he entered the evolutionary path, he was considered a genius among countless evolvers. The favoritism from the upper echelons of human civilization, the affections of the three goddesses, and more made great scholar Te very confident. But seeing Lin Yuan, great scholar Te suddenly thought that he might be getting old. Qikuan main star. Lin Yuan's expression turned reflective. Could it be that this founder, Te, is an evolutionary scholar? Lin Yuan pondered in his heart. The number of evolutionary scholars is extremely scant, far fewer than 8th rank evolvers. Within the circle of virtual world founders, they were all certainly founders of an evolutionary path, but how many of them could actually develop a complete 8th rank evolutionary path? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 305. This would be hundreds to thousands of times more difficult than cultivating to the 8th layer. Space rules. Lin Yuan continued to comprehend the space rules. It must be said that the spatial fluctuations on the battlefields of different races your next read is at MVLE Novel Fire greatly reduced the difficulty for Lin Yuan to comprehend the space rules. Simply put, if it were on Qikuan main star, Lin Yuan's comprehension of space rules would be like someone with 800-degree nearsightedness trying to view the scenery. Then on the battlefields of different races, Lin Yuan's vision in degrees would drop to 700, 600. It would visibly become clearer. Has the Yang spirit already entered the Qikuan star domain? Lin Yuan's expression slightly changed as he looked in a certain direction. Whether it was the Yin spirit or Yang spirit, both were parts of Lin Yuan's soul. Even if separated by vast distances, he could still sense their locations. The Yin spirit has also entered the battlefields of different races. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. To avoid wasting time comprehending the space rules, Lin Yuan had the Yin spirit go to the battlefields of different races before the Yang spirit brought back the legacy of the 8th layer evolutionist Oyin. Thus, although still wasting some time, it was much better than having the Yang spirit travel back and forth. After all, since the original Yin spirit and Yang spirit share the same consciousness, no matter who was on the battlefields of different races, Lin Yuan could synchronize perspectives, making no difference. After finishing his cultivation, Lin Yuan connected to the virtual world and arrived at the Kanglan Star virtual world. Xiao Yuan. His mother, Lu Qiong, saw Lin Yuan and immediately smiled in greeting. Lin Yuan nodded. His father Lin Shoqing was also nearby, chiming in with a few words from time to time. You really don't plan to come to the main star? Lin Yuan asked again for confirmation. Since Lin Yuan had revealed his identity and was infused into the 13 peaks of the Qikuan main star, he had asked his parents if they would like to move to Qikuan main star. After all, from any perspective, Qikuan main star absolutely surpassed Kanglan star. One was an ordinary middle-grade life planet, while the other was the most prosperous and thriving main star of a star domain. There was no comparison at all. And for his parents moving to the Qikuan main star, there was no scenario of starting from scratch, where they had high status on Kanglan star but fell greatly upon moving to the main star. Merely with the identities of parents of the 13 Peaks Master, Lin Shoqing and Lu Qiong, even on Qikuan main star, would be highly respected even by the 6th rank fallen star warriors. Xiao Yuan. Let it be. We've been on Kanglan star since we were young and we're used to it, Lin Shoqing said with a smile. Although Kanglan star is backward, it's our home planet. Now being able to live in the most upscale manner in the central mainland, your mother and I are very satisfied. Yes, Xiao Yuan, go about your own affairs, don't let us hold you back. Lu Qiong added from the side. Upon hearing this, Lin Yuan fell silent for a moment and did not press further. His parents were the type of people who preferred to live in peace in a corner. Kanglan star had everything they were familiar with, a sun, 12 planets and so on, to which they were already accustomed. That's fine. If you have any issues, just speak to Ho Ming, Lin Yuan said after a thought. Ho Ming was indeed Lin Yuan's captain of the guard troops, a 6th rank fallen star warrior. When Lin Yuan went to Qikuan main star, he specifically left Ho Ming behind. In addition, the guard troops of the Dawn Association's president were also protecting his parents. It could be said that the current security forces for his parents were very sufficient, even surpassing that of the Kanglan star governor. Xiao Yuan, don't worry too much, we have the virtual world. If we want to see you we can at any time, Lu Qiong continued. Right. Lin Shoqing nodded. With the virtual world, many things became simple. Even if separated by dozens of star domains, meeting wasn't difficult. After chatting with his parents for a while, Lin Yuan exited the virtual world. "I'm back." Lin Yuan stepped out of the Great Hall. At this moment, a pitch-black spacecraft was slowly descending. Whoosh! Streams of the power of Taiyang silently appeared and finally merged into Lin Yuan's body. It was Lin Yuan's Taiyang Divine Spirit. This time, sending the Taiyang Divine Spirit to the battlefields of different races, the greatest gain was not the enhanced perception of the spatial model, but acquiring the entire legacy of an 8th-layer evolutionist. Returning to the Great Hall, Lin Yuan's mind stirred slightly. A silver-white bracelet appeared. This silver-white bracelet, primitive in design, differed in aesthetic from the current human civilization's space equipment. It was indeed the storage bracelet of the 8th-layer evolutionist Oin. Although I am one of the 13 Peaks Masters of the Red Kuan lineage, exalted in status, I didn't possess much wealth. Now that has been rectified. Lin Yuan's spirit was pleased. Even as a disciple of the Chikuan Star Lord, he could not just magically receive an abundance of treasures and riches, at most some life-saving items. Previously, Heyu Mo was planning to lure Lin Yuan out with a precious treasure, confident that this Peak Master must be lacking in valuable resources. This was very normal. For most evolvers to acquire a vast wealth, it's usually through years of accumulation. As for the revenue division from the martial path evolutionary path that Lin Yuan established, not much time had passed. This kind of income was more steady rather than a sudden windfall. This space bracelet is indeed a rare treasure. Lin Yuan closely examined the silver-white bracelet, his expression one of admiration. Even among spatial storage treasures there are varying levels, some with minimal internal space incapable of holding life, while some spatial storage treasures boast vast and extremely stable spaces, not prone to fluctuations. This silver-white bracelet was clearly among the latter. 8th rank armor. Lin Yuan quickly refined the silver-white bracelet and pulled out a cyan-colored armor. This armor, nearly 1 meter in size, was engraved with mysterious patterns. As soon as Lin Yuan took it out, it floated in the air, faintly emitting a certain profound aura. 8th rank defensive weapons. Oh, this is surely a life-saving item. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Wearing this 8th rank armor, he could withstand all physical attacks below the 8th layer. As for attacks at the 8th layer level, it could weaken most of them. From this, it can be seen that what 8th layer evolutionist Oin valued the most was defense, preserving life. After all, from the legacy he left behind, no 8th rank offensive treasures were found. They might have been lost. This armor could be kept for personal use or sold. 8th rank armor is not limited to being worn only by 8th rank evolvers. Novel. 7th rank, 6th rank could wear it too, but only 8th rank evolvers could fully unlock the defensive capabilities of the 8th rank armor. Some 7th rank, 6th rank weapons. Lin Yuan once again took out 7 or 8 weapons from the silver-white bracelet. These weapons must have been occasionally obtained by 8th layer evolutionist Oin. And 1,000 cubic universe crystals. Lin Yuan flipped his hand and took out a cubic universe crystal, a fist-sized crystal jade, with incredibly pure cosmic energy flowing inside. A cubic universe crystal is equivalent to 100 million universe coins, equivalent to 1 trillion human civilization coins. Lin Yuan was astounded. Civilization coins are just the internal trading currency of human civilization. 7th and 8th layer evolvers mostly use universe coins for transactions, and not limited to within the human race. Therefore, universe coins are the hard currency accepted for transactions by the 10,000 universe races. The reason being that universe coins contain extremely high-grade cosmic energy. This quality of cosmic energy can meet the consumptive needs of the 7th rank, 8th rank or even stronger beings in combat. Relying on slowly absorbing cosmic energy to recover? Too slow, the enemy will not foolishly wait for your recovery. Extracting the energy inside a universe coin is much more convenient, precisely because universe coins have an irreplaceable role for higher-rank strong ones. They became a universally accepted trading currency among many races, because the universe coins themselves possess extremely high value. Much purer than the energy in red spirit fluid. Lin Yuan compared inwardly, then focused his attention on the last treasure within the silver-white bracelet. This treasure was the most valuable of all the treasures. Even if the 8th rank armor, 7th rank and 6th rank weapons, 1,000 cubic universe crystals were combined, they still couldn't match up to this treasure. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 306, 8th Layer Soul Defense Treasure. Lin Yuan's eyes were slightly fervent. Among all treasures, soul defense treasures were definitely the most precious kind. The soul carries the live's consciousness and true spirit. For a high-rank evolver, the destruction of the physical body doesn't equate to death. But if the soul has issues, it directly affects the consciousness and true spirit. Among the many treasures left by Oyin, the most precious was undoubtedly this one. In fact, Lin Yuan had come across a soul defense treasure before, one of the prizes for the champion of the Kanglan Star tournament. However, that soul defense treasure was only 3rd or 4th rank, not on the same level as the 8th layer soul defense treasure left by Oyin. Is it shaped like a water droplet? Lin Yuan took out that soul defense treasure. It was a sky blue droplet the size of a thumb, and upon closer inspection, one could see faint cracks on the surface of the droplet. 8th layer evolutionist Oyin had armor to defend his physical body and this 8th layer droplet to guard his soul, but he still died under a soul attack from the Black Abyss Jianghu. Even this soul droplet was nearly penetrated, Lin Yuan thought to himself. While soul defense treasures can protect the soul, it doesn't mean they are infallible. Even an 8th layer soul defense treasure has its protective limits. If an attack surpasses this limit, the soul will be pierced through the treasure, attacking the soul directly. The Black Abyss Jianghu had the power to break through the protection of an 8th layer soul defense treasure at the 8th layer? Lin Yuan pondered. An 8th layer soul defense treasure is given this prefix because it can resist the majority of soul attacks at the 8th layer level. Those from different species? Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. In the wars between the Human Civilization Alliance and different species, humans have the upper hand, but this advantage is just that, merely an advantage. There are still many strong humans who die. Black Abyss Jianghu was just one member of the formidable Heiyuan clan. If it were on the battlefields where humans are fighting against the insect race and other peak clans, the casualties on the human side would only be greater. This droplet is damaged. Lin Yuan touched the sky blue droplet. Experienced new tales on MVLE novel fire. Despite the damage, it was still an 8th layer soul defense treasure. If Lin Yuan wished, he could easily trade it for 4 or 5 pieces of 8th layer armor or similar weapons. Most of Oyin's wealth must have been spent on this defensive droplet. Find time to ask my mentor to see if it can be repaired. Lin Yuan thought to himself, since it was broken, naturally it could be repaired, but fixing an 8th layer soul defense treasure could only be possible if the Chiquan Starlord had a way. As for the risk of exposing that he had obtained Oyin's legacy, what if it was exposed? Oyin had been dead for over 1,000,000 years and was a lone evolver. As a peak master of the Red Kuan lineage, who would dare to object? Chiquan Starlord, his mentor, was a strong figure from 1,000,000 years ago, on par with Black Abyss Jianghu. He probably wouldn't be interested in a broken soul droplet. Special Life Bloodline Essence Potion. Lin Yuan took out a transparent test tube with a viscous purple liquid inside. This kind of Special Life Bloodline elixir didn't serve much purpose to individual evolvers. Its greatest effect was to implant the essence into the lineage of offspring. This would then form a strong evolver family. Such a family would be much more powerful than the legacies left by 6th rank Fallen Star warriors. This Special Life Bloodline essence was purer, increasing both the probability and potential upper limits of awakening bloodlines and progeny. In the future, I could also use this bloodline evolution elixir to create a powerful evolver family as a force to cultivate. Lin Yuan had a plan. Whether or not he decided to create his own evolver family, if Lin Yuan wished to sell it, he could do so at any time. After all, special lives are rare, and this bloodline essence potion, formed from countless special lives, will only become scarcer over time. In addition to the wealth and treasures inherited from 8th layer evolutionist Oyin, Lin Yuan had also gathered quite a bit from killing those Heiyuan clan powerhouses. But compared to Oyin, they were naturally far inferior. Those Heiyuan clan members who dared to join the battlefield most likely left their main wealth and treasures at home. The treasures they carried with them were not much, mostly just the weapons and equipment needed for battle. Upload the battle kill video. Lin Yuan directly uploaded the video of him killing those 5 Heiyuan clan powerhouses to the Goddess of Freedom. This was an important piece of evidence for the Goddess of Freedom to decide whether to grant merit points. The video recording function is unique to the 3 goddesses. Outsiders cannot fake it or alter it. And because the perspective of the video includes oneself, the possibility of killing fellow evolvers from the same species, seizing their video, and pretending it shows one's own kill is eliminated. Drip, video authenticity confirmed. facts confirmed. Upon evaluation valued at 5,000 merit points, the voice of the goddess of freedom, imbued with cold murderous intent, resounded. 5,000 merit points? Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. 5,000 merit points may seem like a lot, but it's not even enough to upgrade from a level 1 citizen to a level 3 citizen. It takes 1,000 merit points to go from level 1 to level 2, and 5,000 merit points from level 2 to level 3. But these 5,000 merit points require the killing of 5 6th-layer different species members. What concept is a 6th-layer different species member? They are fallen star warriors, and this time it was 6 at once. It's still more worthwhile to focus on researching the evolution path. Lin Yuan thought to himself that while killing these 5 members of the Heiyuan clan went smoothly, doing it too frequently would cause problems. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 307. He who often walks by the river may eventually get his shoes wet. If Lin Yuan were greedy for this way of earning merit points, sooner or later, he'd run into big trouble. Battlefield C24763. Lin Yuan's god rode on a spaceship, swiftly advancing in a certain direction. Wonderful fluctuations of space. Lin Yuan took a deep breath, reveling in the continuously fluctuating spatial forces around him, his mind exceptionally pleased. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to sense the spatial fluctuations, deepening your comprehension of the space rules. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to sense the spatial fluctuations, deepening your comprehension of the space rules. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to sense the spatial fluctuations, deepening your comprehension of the space rules. The Taiyin primordial spirit shared consciousness with Lin Yuan and naturally possessed against heaven's understanding. At this moment, entering the battlefield of different races, it was deepening its understanding and feeling of the space rules almost every moment. So far, I haven't encountered any different species. Lin Yuan glanced around and shook his head slightly. This was the norm for the alien battlefield, except during certain special periods. Most of the time you wouldn't encounter any different species. If one wanted to find different species, they should head to the center of the battlefield, where armies of strong individuals from both the human race and the Heiyuan clan were gathered, and wars could break out at any moment. Like Lin Yuan, who, not long after entering the battlefield, had encountered several strong members of the Heiyuan clan, and had also obtained the inheritance of a human race 8th rank evolver. That was not normal. It could already be considered a huge stroke of luck. That should be the location of the permanent spatial rift in this battlefield. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted, looking in a certain direction. He faintly sensed that there were extremely violent spatial forces surging over there. The main world is almost perfect, its space is solid, nearly indestructible. Even if I forcibly tear open the space using my comprehension of spatial laws, the rift would heal very quickly. As for the formation of a permanent spatial rift, Lin Yuan was somewhat unable to understand the reasons behind the formation of the eternal spatial rift, attributing it to the might of supreme beings being too powerful. According to the information next to that permanent spatial rift, there are strong members of both the human race and the Heiyuan clan guarding it, and one must have the approval of either the human race or the Heiyuan clan to approach and comprehend it. This wasn't a problem for Lin Yuan. When the time came, he only needed to reveal his human race identity to get through. In fact, many evolvers entering the battlefield of different races did so with the goal of comprehending the space rules, and the same was true for the Heiyuan clan. Most strong individuals did not have the terrifying comprehension abilities like Lin Yuan, and they couldn't break through just by closing up in meditation. They could only rely on entering such dangerous places to try to advance further. Chiquan main star. Lin Yuan was sitting cross-legged. In front of him, wisps of spatial power emerged, constantly converging and intertwining, forming a mysterious spatial model. Time passed unknowably. A tower-shaped spatial model was completed, and in an instant, with the tower as the center, the space all around suddenly became stable. The 938th type of spatial model. Lin Yuan opened his eyes, a smile on his face. Among the 965 basic spatial models, each type of spatial model has its special use. For example, the tower-shaped spatial model that Lin Yuan had just condensed is capable of suppressing space. If this spatial model is applied and comprehended to the extreme, one could solidify the space within 1 billion miles with a wave of the hand, prohibiting the use of many spatial powers such as instant movement. There are still 27 basic spatial models left. Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred, and the tower-shaped spatial model in front of him dispersed, and the space around him immediately returned to normal. In at most a month, I will be able to completely comprehend the basic spatial models. By then, nothing will hinder the opening of the 7th stage Martial Tao chapter, and I can fully step into the 7th rank. Lin Yuan was quite satisfied. Of course. The reason he could comprehend at such a rapid speed was mainly because of the Taiyin primordial spirit being in the alien battlefield, granting him an equivalent comprehension of space. This allowed Lin Yuan to significantly advance the pace at which he comprehended the 965 types of basic spatial models. 7th stage Martial Tao. Lin Yuan looked forward to it greatly, imagining the importance of this phase. Creating his own inner world was the foundation. And according to Lin Yuan's comprehension of other evolution paths, to open an inner world, one needs at least to be in the period of breaking through from the 7th rank to the 8th layer. As for opening an inner world between the 6th rank and 7th rank, throughout the 2+ million years of the Starry Sea era, there have been very few specific cases, each one an unreplicable stroke of great fortune. Battlefield C24763. We've arrived. Lin Yuan stopped the spaceship. Not far off there was a mountain range floating in the air, snaking tens of thousands of miles, emitting terrifying waves of energy. As Lin Yuan approached, he actively released the aura of his battlefield pass. It wasn't long before. A tall man clad in black armor flew down. "Brother, what brings you to this battlefield?" he asked warmly. The armored man approached, seeming quite friendly. Since Lin Yuan could release the aura of the battlefield pass, it proved that he belonged to the human race. Different species had no means to imitate the aura of the battlefield pass, not even those peak clans could do it. "Are you planning to head to the center of the battlefield to have a good fight with those despicable members of the Heiyuan clan?" The armored man looked at Lin Yuan excitedly. "Don't worry, follow behind me when the great battle erupts, you definitely won't encounter any problems." Most of the human evolvers who come to the battlefields of different races aim to fight against different species on the battlefield. The benefits are too many: killing a member of a different species, gaining the treasures on their person, as well as merit points determined by the goddess of freedom. As for comprehending space rules, that's mostly just incidental. No, I'm preparing to head to that permanent spatial rift to comprehend the space rules. Lin Yuan immediately shared his objective. Clearly, the armored man was keen on slaying different species and was now thinking of roping Lin Yuan into his group. "I see." An obvious look of disappointment crossed the man's face. "Vengeful. Come, then come with me." The armored man turned and flew towards the floating mountain range behind him. Lin Yuan immediately followed. The two entered the hovering mountain range. Next to the permanent spatial rift, half of it is occupied by the Heiyuan clan. "You need to be cautious when you comprehend there, don't get too engrossed," the armored man cautioned. On the alien battlefield, the encounters between the human race and the Heiyuan clan still retained sanity. There were some areas by default where fighting was not allowed. One of these areas was around that permanent spatial rift. Both human race evolvers and Heiyuan clan powerhouses who went there did so to comprehend space rules. Therefore, for tens of thousands of years, both sides by default forbid initiating conflict in that area. Those wishing to engage in battle should go to the central battlefield, where a large number of powerhouses from both clans congregate. You can fight to your heart's content there. But this was only an unwritten rule. It wasn't unbreakable. If you truly regarded that area as a safe zone, read the latest on Immortal novel Fire, you would truly be foolish. That's why the armored man gave such a warning. "I understand." Lin Yuan nodded. He had made sufficient preparations before coming here. "Good. Follow me." The armored man led Lin Yuan to a teleportation area. From here, one could immediately reach the side of that permanent spatial rift. Teleportation began. Lin Yuan felt a violent fluctuation of spatial forces all around him. By the time things started to settle down, he had already arrived at another location. Over there? Lin Yuan looked up and saw a pitch-black crack not too far away. It was filled with a murky gas, vast amounts of space force churned, along with space rules constantly fluctuating. "This is the permanent spatial rift in this space battlefield." The armored man also looked over and explained in a low voice, "This permanent spatial rift was caused by the human evolvers wielding supreme weapons, so it's not very large. However, in large alien battlefields where supreme beings personally tear open permanent spatial rifts, they can reach tens of thousands of miles, hundreds of millions of miles, and even billions of miles wide. It's said that such vast spatial rifts often have traces of visitors from other worlds, and they are extremely dangerous. while introducing the armored man marveled. However, there were things the armored man didn't know. At this very moment, Lin Yuan's heart was not calm. Because when he looked at that permanent spatial rift not far away, which was only over 10 meters wide, in the depths of his mind, the towering, magnificent door to the myriad realms slightly trembled. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 308 Door to the Myriad Realms. Lin Yuan's expression inevitably became solemn. The door to the myriad realms deep in his mind was not a physical entity. It was but a strand of projection of the true door to the myriad realms, bound to Lin Yuan's true self and consciousness. Thus, whether it was Lin Yuan himself or the Yin spirit and Yang spirit, they all could see the door to the myriad realms, because they shared one consciousness. Similarly, when Lin Yuan traveled through worlds, whenever his consciousness descended into other worlds, the projection of the door to the myriad realms would appear in the mind of the vessel of Lin Yuan's consciousness descent. After breaking through to the 6th rank, Lin Yuan obtained much information from within the door to the myriad realms, including the fact that the physical body of the door to the myriad realms was located in some mysterious place. With Lin Yuan's current strength, he simply couldn't withstand the true door to the myriad realms. However, even if it was just an insignificant projection of the door to the myriad realms, it had a sense of being almost eternal and unchangeable, hard for external forces to affect. Yet now, the door to the myriad realms deep within Lin Yuan's mind was actually trembling slightly? What's the reason? Lin Yuan's thoughts fluctuated. Because of this permanent spatial rift? Lin Yuan's gaze once again turned to the nearby spatial rift, more than 10 meters in size, from which a gray foggy gas was emanating. The changes in the door to the myriad realms started from the moment Lin Yuan saw this spatial rift. As Lin Yuan pondered, a surge of information flowed out from the door to the myriad realms. He quickly received it. The speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulates world-breaking origin force has increased? Lin Yuan was startled. Ever since he became aware of the door to the myriad realms, the speed at which it accumulated world-breaking origin force had never changed. 333 days for one strand of world-breaking origin force. And it didn't accelerate with the increase of Lin Yuan's strength. But now, the speed at which the door to the myriad realms now accumulates world-breaking origin force has increased to once every 310 days? Lin Yuan once again looked toward the spatial rift not far away. So that's how it is. Lin Yuan's expression showed that he was deep in thought. What was world-breaking origin force? Lin Yuan never fully understood before, only feeling that the energy needed by the door to the myriad realms was something he had never heard of. Now it seems, it's related to the shattering of the world. This shattering is fundamental, irreversible. If it were just a spatial shatter, then during his 5th traversal in the Immortal Tao world, Lin Yuan spent his last decades breaking through space, drifting among the chaos of the void. Logically, the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force should have increased. But in reality it did not. A great opportunity. This is my great opportunity. Lin Yuan was overjoyed in his heart, after understanding the reason behind the door to the myriad realms tremor, and realizing what kind of impact this would have on himself. Is world-breaking origin force important? Most certainly, it's the power source for the door to the myriad realms. In a sense, as long as there's enough world-breaking origin force, Lin Yuan can use the door to the myriad realms to go to any world he wishes. And he can bring back countless treasures from otherworldly realms without anyone being the wiser. Isn't that an inconceivably powerful ability? If I get closer, will the speed at which world-breaking origin force accumulates increase? Lin Yuan converged his thoughts and pondered in secret. From his current position he wasn't far from that spatial rift, but he wasn't close either. All right. In this kind of place, it's best to be careful with everything. The armored man had roughly finished introducing things to Lin Yuan and turned to leave. Lin Yuan stood there for a while, then cautiously moved closer to the spatial rift. A treasure trove. This battlefield of different races is simply my treasure trove. On Chikuan Main Star, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, feeling the door to the myriad realms deep within his mind, with an increased speed of accumulating world-breaking origin force. His mood was extraordinarily happy. Battlefields of different races were riddled with dangers, where human evolvers were at constant risk of falling. The powerful 8th-layer evolutionist Oyin, wasn't he still defeated in such a small-sized otherworldly battlefield? But as for Lin Yuan, these battlefields of different races were simply treasure lands, places of blessing. Ever since he sent his primordial spirit to the battlefields of different races, Lin Yuan had been reaping benefits constantly. First was his understanding of space rules. The spatial fluctuations in the battlefields of different races were obvious, making it relatively easier to comprehend space rules. Now, Lin Yuan was close to penetrating more than 900 of the basic spatial models. Secondly, he acquired the legacy of an 8th-layer evolutionist. Those treasures, even if they might not compare to Chikuan's Star-Lord, were definitely beyond those amassed by the old 7th-rank peak evolvers who had been accumulating for tens of thousands of years. Especially that shattered soul defense droplet, which would stir the heart of ordinary 8th-layer evolvers. The spatial fluctuations are becoming ever clearer. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, his perspective shared. As the Tying primordial spirit approached the spatial rift, bursts of spiritual light constantly emerged. Your perception is heaven-defying, approaching the source of a shattered realm interface, your comprehension of the essence of space rules deepens. Continue reading at MVL Novel Fire. Your perception is heaven-defying, approaching the source of a shattered realm interface, your comprehension of the essence of space rules deepens. Your perception is heaven-defying, approaching the source of a shattered realm interface, your comprehension of the essence of space rules deepens. Rustle, rustle. Lin Yuan raised his hand. Threads of spatial power coiled around it. In an instant, the 951st spatial model took shape. Marvelous. Too marvelous. So space can be manipulated like this? Lin Yuan lifted his hands, constantly playing with the spatial power, influencing the surrounding space. At this moment, in Lin Yuan's field of vision, space seemed like flowing water, and his every move could create ripples in this flow. The ripples spread out, extending tens of thousands or even millions of miles away, constantly colliding and interweaving, eventually stirring up a spatial storm. And this. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 309. It was merely because Lin Yuan had slightly manipulated the force of space. This is the place, he said. Near the permanent spatial rift on the battlefield of different races. Lin Yuan ceased any further approach. Through constant trial just now, he had found this spot, which could significantly increase the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force. Any further and the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force would not increase. And being too close to the spatial rift, the surging spatial force would affect his own comprehension. Now the accumulation speed of the door to the myriad realms is... Lin Yuan closed his eyes and felt it deeply for a moment. Approximately 298 days to accumulate a strand of world-breaking origin force. Lin Yuan's eyes shone. Compared to the initial 333 days, 298 days for a strand of world-breaking origin force had already improved the accumulation speed by 10 to 20%. In the short term, this extra speed might not be of great use. But if you look at it over an extended period, it would be a considerable amount of world-breaking origin force income. With Lin Yuan's strength, living tens of thousands to millions of years was easy, and over such a lengthy timeline, the increased accumulation speed would form a substantial advantage like a snowball effect. Moreover, this increase in the accumulation speed of the door to the myriad realms world-breaking origin force. The biggest impact on Lin Yuan was not the 10 to 20% increase in speed, but it allowed Lin Yuan to see a second method of obtaining world-breaking origin force. Before coming to the battlefield of different races, Lin Yuan had thought that world-breaking origin force could only be accumulated slowly at a pace of one strand every 333 days. But now, Lin Yuan knew that this permanent spatial rift could enhance the accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force. From this he deduced a conclusion. If Lin Yuan went to a larger permanent spatial rift, would the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force continue to increase? The current rift was merely 10 meters long, but those medium and large alien battlefields had permanent spatial rifts that might span thousands of miles, even millions of miles. Near such spatial rifts, could the speed at which the door to the myriad realms accumulated world-breaking origin force surge dramatically? No rush for now, he said. Let's wait until stepping into the 7th rank. Lin Yuan steadied his body, and accompanying his proximity to the permanent spatial rift, his comprehension of space rules was increasing at a terrifying speed. Almost every half day or so, he could fully comprehend one kind of basic spatial model. Based on the current rate of comprehending space rules, in 5 to 6 days at most, he would have fully comprehended 965 kinds of basic spatial models. Then, Lin Yuan would be able to step into the 7th rank. This 7th rank was not the ordinary sense of 7th rank. If it were just an ordinary 7th rank, Lin Yuan would already have been at that rank back in the Immortal Tao world. But Lin Yuan was somewhat dissatisfied with that kind of 7th rank, so he had been dragging it out until now. The 7th rank Lin Yuan wanted to step into was one that perfectly matched martial Tao, the perfect 7th rank. Time passed. Friab novel. Calm before long 7 days had gone by. On Chikuan Main Star in the 13 Peaks Great Hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Silently, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. Strands of spatial force emerged. They quickly converged into a kind of inverted pyramid spatial model. As this spatial model formed, Lin Yuan's understanding of space suddenly took on a certain completeness. 965 kinds of spatial models. Lin Yuan's eyes lowered, he muttered to himself, all thoroughly comprehended. At this moment, his surroundings in Lin Yuan's eyes almost had a translucent feel. Having comprehended all the basic spatial models, Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules had reached new heights, and his perception of space had developed its own uniqueness. That's how it should be. My 7th-stage martial Tao should be like this. My path is complete. Lin Yuan was vibrant, with sufficient comprehension of space. The derivation of the 7th-stage martial Tao chapter was almost natural. Just an hour later, Lin Yuan had derived the initial part of the 7th rank chapter. Let's break through now, he said. Lin Yuan did not hesitate much. He had already experienced advancing to the 7th rank, and with such a high understanding of space and the aid of his Against Heaven's understanding, breaking through to the 7th rank was almost guaranteed to succeed. Begin. Lin Yuan closed his eyes. The breath within his body suddenly began to gather slowly. Chikuan Main Star. Above, 10 million kilometers away, a space slightly twisted. Chikuan Star Lord, dressed in a crimson robe and with his hands clasped behind his back, stood there quietly. Not far away, 12 figures stood in succession. It was the 12 peak masters of Chikuan Star Lord. Aside from the junior disciple Lin Yuan, all 12 peak masters had appeared here, standing respectfully. Everyone is here. Chikuan Star Lord glanced over the 12 disciples. Now, let me demonstrate for you just many applications of space rules, Chikuan Star Lord said indifferently. Although the virtual world can almost perfectly replicate everything from the outside world, it still cannot perfectly replicate space rules. Thus, every once in a while, Chikuan Star Lord would gather all his disciples under the outer space, personally demonstrating the use of the power of space. Your next read is at MVLMPY. Our teacher, the junior disciple, has not yet arrived. At this moment, the 4th peak master's Wugu couldn't help but speak. He had looked around for a long time and noticed that only the 12 of them were present. The junior disciple Lin Yuan was not there. As soon as these words were spoken, the 5th, 6th, and 7th peak masters also looked towards Chikuan Star Lord. They had also noticed this issue, but they didn't dare to ask since Chikuan Star Lord had not mentioned it. The junior disciple? Chikuan Star Lord glanced at the 4th peak masters Wugu and the other peak masters who were still at the 6th rank. The teachings they now received, Lin Yuan had essentially already comprehended. The last time he demonstrated the space model, Chikuan Star Lord noticed Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules. Therefore he did not specifically call Lin Yuan this time, mainly wanting to save some face for 9th peak masters like the 4th peak master. The thought of being surpassed by the youngest disciple after so many years of being a disciple. Chikuan Star Lord thought about it and found it to be quite normal. After all, given the talents displayed by Lin Yuan, surpassing from the 4th peak master to the 12th wasn't the issue, it was just a matter of time. All right. Enough talk. Chikuan Star Lord didn't bother to explain. Next, I will try to materialize the space rules as much as possible. You all try your best to break through them. Having said this, Chikuan Star Lord's figure disappeared from the spot. This scene made the 12 peak masters on the scene tense. Even the great peak masters, who had long entered the 7th rank, had serious expressions. The materialization of space rules mentioned by Chikuan Star Lord was definitely not a trivial matter. The next moment, the 12 peak masters found that the space around them began to twist. Their own figures became smaller and smaller, almost turning into mesons. Above everyone's heads, a massive entity appeared. It was a starry sky wanderer Kuan, whose size was tens to hundreds of times that of a normal life planet. Under the condition that the 12 peak masters' figures were turned into mesons, the starry sky wanderer Kuan seemed even more like a splendid starry river, towering above and looking down at everyone. We can't go on like this. The 12 peak masters trembled in spirit, realizing that if they didn't resist, their mental states would be destroyed, and then they would definitely be scolded by the teacher again. Thus, the 12 exerted their fullest strength in an explosion, seeking to resist the starry sky wanderer Kuan that seemed to crush down like the heavens. But the next moment, there was no longer a starry sky wanderer Kuan that resembled a splendid starry river between heaven and earth. The 12 peak masters' figures also returned to normal, and the twisted space quickly calmed down. However, the 12 peak masters did not dare to relax. Because, unknown to them, their teacher Chikuan Star Lord had already come by their side, standing behind everyone, looking down at the Chikuan main star below. As if observing someone. The great peak master, also at the 7th rank peak, likewise noticed something. Is this the aura of breaking through to the 7th rank? Junior disciple, is junior disciple breaking through to the 7th rank? The great peak master muttered to himself, yet his voice rang in every peak master's ear. Breaking through to the 7th rank? 4th peak master's Wuxia stared, dumbfounded and incredulous. Chikuan Star Lord glanced at the 4th peak master's Wuxia and then at the other peak masters. As if to say, see? Now do you understand why I didn't call your junior disciple over? The 12 peak masters were utterly bewildered. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 310, Is the junior disciple about to break through to the 7th rank? This was the first thought that surfaced in the minds of the 12 peak masters. An evolver breaking through a great realm is like a pebble falling into water, creating ripples. Ordinary people or weaker evolvers might not notice. But it can't be hidden from 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers. When Lin Yuan first stepped into the 6th rank on Kanglin's star, the noise of his breakthrough was captured by the great senior brother and the demon rat clan monarch. Thus, the 12 peak masters instantly felt the aura of a breakthrough to the 7th rank emanating from Chikuan main star. And they confirmed that the aura of the breakthrough originated from the 13 peaks. From this, they concluded that the junior disciple was breaking through. How much time has passed? This was the second thought that emerged in the minds of the 12 peak masters. Advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank is no easy matter. This is a major threshold, a major constraint. Peak masters 4 through 12 are still trapped at the peak of the 6th rank. One can see the difficulty in this. In the minds of these 9 6th rank peak masters, Lin Yuan had terrifying potential and indeed had a better chance than them of entering the 7th rank in the future. But that would require time, right? How long has it been since Lin Yuan broke through the 6th rank? This is simply unreasonable. Junior disciple? The great peak master blinked his eyes. Not long ago, one of his avatars personally guarded Kanglin's star and witnessed the entire process of Lin Yuan's advancement to the 6th rank. Your journey continues at what the great peak master did not expect, however, was that he would witness his junior disciple advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank today. Teacher, did you already know the junior disciple was about to break through? 4th peak master's Wuxia swallowed nervously and asked cautiously. This time, the Chikuan Star Lord specifically called them out, not disturbing Lin Yuan, which now seemed quite prescient. Perhaps he already knew something. Naturally. The Chikuan Star Lord glanced at his several disciples. Previously, Lin Yuan had consulted him about the basic space models, and the Chikuan Star Lord realized that Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules was terrifyingly high, not at all like an evolver who had just entered the 6th rank. Such high comprehension of space meant that Lin Yuan's realm far exceeded the 6th rank, plus as a peak master of the Red Kuan lineage with an unlimited supply of Scarlet Spirit liquid, there was no need to slowly accumulate energy. Under many factors, the Chikuan Star Lord felt that Lin Yuan advancing to the 7th rank was completely to be expected. Only, even the Chikuan Star Lord did not expect that Lin Yuan would choose to break through so quickly, not continue to accumulate, or consult him about the details of advancing to the 7th rank. Of course, although the Chikuan Star Lord hadn't interacted much with Lin Yuan, based on his understanding of Lin Yuan, he knew his junior disciple was steady-minded and would not act without assurance. Even when suppressed by the Heiyu family in the past, he hadn't revealed his identity. Now that he has chosen to break through to the 7th rank, he surely has ample confidence. What is this cultivation speed of the junior disciple? I'm still rotating in the 6th rank, and the junior disciple has reached the 7th rank? Isn't the junior disciple still under 30? A 7th rank at 30? When I was 30, I was still playing around in the 4th and 5th ranks. After regaining their composure, the 12 peak masters spoke in astonished tones and quickly started discussing. The stronger the strength, the more they could understand how terrifying Lin Yuan's cultivation speed truly was. In the long history of the Chiquan Star domain and even the entire Anan Star Alliance, there had been 7th rank evolvers under 30. But most of these evolvers had many opportunities and had entered the 6th rank very early, spending 10 to nearly 20 years before breaking through to the 7th rank. To advance like Lin Yuan, entering the 6th rank less than 2 years ago and then advancing to the 7th rank, there probably aren't many such instances in the entire history of human civilization, are there? Currently, in the overt records of the Human Civilization Alliance, among evolvers who reached the 7th rank before 30, 10% remain at the 7th rank, 20% die in various accidents, and 70% reach the 8th rank, which means as long as the junior disciple doesn't die, reaching the 8th rank is almost inevitable. Second senior brother muttered to himself, still somewhat in disbelief. Setting aside other factors, just this terrifying cultivation speed alone will ensure Lin Yuan a prominent place in the annals of human civilization. V1. Come in the future, even millions or tens of millions of years later, when evolvers mention a 7th rank under the age of 30, Lin Yuan will undoubtedly be cited. Such a brilliant and outstanding evolver, and he's actually their junior disciple? Alright. Enough talking. Just watch carefully and feel this chance doesn't come often. The Chiquan Star Lord glanced again at the various peak masters and spoke. Yes. The 12 peak masters immediately stopped discussing. Especially the 4th to 12th peak masters, they observed even more intently. Advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank begins to impact the cosmic starry sky. This subtle change has a slight stimulating effect on those evolvers at the peak of the 6th rank. Chiquan Main Star. Deep within the 13 Peaks Great Hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. At this moment his internal energy was boiling to the extreme. With just a single thought he could step into the 7th rank. Next, I need to integrate the way of Taiyin and Taiyang with the Tao of space to evolve a Taiji microcosm. Lin Yuan sat there, the power of Taiyin and Taiyang within his Qi Dantian continuously colliding, emitting an indescribable aura. If Lin Yuan hadn't mastered 965 basic space models, at this moment inside his Qi Dantian, he would stop progressing. In terms of the sheer depth and suppressive power of the pure domain, he might be much stronger than other 7th rank evolvers, but he would still be on the same level, nowhere comparable to an 8th rank evolver. But now, space. Lin Yuan's mind flickered slightly. Streams of space power emerged from within his Qi Dantian. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 311, continuously condensing all sorts of spatial models. Over 900 basic spatial models came together like pillars, thoroughly supporting an entirely independent space within Lin Yuan's Dantian Qi. A world. Lin Yuan observed the changes within the Qi of his Dantian. Creating a small space isn't a difficult task for a 6th rank evolver. As long as they comprehend 1 or 2 basic spatial models they can achieve it. In the Immortal Tao world, a Mahayana phase Heaven Lord could use the Heaven-grade technique, Cosmos in the sleeve to temporarily create a sleeve space. But to create a small world is incredibly difficult. Unlike the rigid space, a world can continuously absorb external energy to grow. The most powerful aspect of an 8th layer evolver is that with every move, they can harness the power of their inner world, a terrifying force far surpassing the individual's own. And with the support of an inner world, an 8th layer evolver is very hard to kill, able to recover from even the most grievous injuries. Of course. Here, the injuries referred to are those of the physical body. As for injuries to the soul, it depends on the specific circumstances. The soul is extremely mysterious. Over 1,000,000 years ago, the 8th layer evolutionist Oyin died under a soul attack, unable to send out any message before death. The embryonic form of a world has already taken shape. Lin Yuan's attention was mostly focused on that separate space deep within the Qi of his Dantian. With the addition of 965 basic spatial models, the power of Taiyin and power of Taiyang, which formed the power of Taiji, seemed to have gone through some type of qualitative change. The aura shifted, quickly becoming perfected. The embryonic form of a small world faintly appeared. Lin Yuan's expression suddenly changed. With the appearance of the embryonic form of the small world, Lin Yuan suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of hunger. Hungry, hungry, hungry. I'm starving to death. The small world's embryonic form began to crazily absorb the energy inside Lin Yuan's body. In fact, with Lin Yuan's control he could completely cut off this absorption. But if he did that, it might affect the foundation of the Taiji small world. Thankfully I came prepared. With a thought from Lin Yuan, bottle after bottle appeared before him. They were filled with vast amounts of scarlet spirit liquid. Before his breakthrough, Lin Yuan had prepared everything he might need. To open up an inner world, a tremendous amount of energy is inevitably consumed, and relying solely on one's own absorption, who knows how long that would take. Therefore Lin Yuan had, in advance, applied for enough scarlet spirit liquid. Scarlet spirit liquid can replenish the energy consumed within the body, and has many uses. The Red Kun lineage has a stable channel for acquiring scarlet spirit liquid. Actually, in terms of replenishing oneself, the effect of cosmic crystal stones should far surpass that of scarlet spirit liquid, a resource needed by 8th layer evolvers and even stronger beings. But Lin Yuan was reluctant to use them. Despite obtaining 1,000 cubic cosmic crystals from Oin's legacy, these were hard currency among various cosmic races, and using any would mean having less. While the effect of scarlet spirit liquid was somewhat inferior, it was free and cost nothing. Eat. Lin Yuan drank the scarlet spirit liquid in big gulps, and the gentle power flowed swiftly into the qi sea of his dantian through his limbs and bones. The embryonic form of the Taiji small world started to fill up at a visible rate. Above the Qikuan main star, the Qikuan Star Lord and the 12 Peak Masters were carefully observing the fluctuations in Lin Yuan's aura during his breakthrough. Little junior brother has a very stable foundation. Seems like he has made ample preparations. The breakthrough hasn't encountered any hitches, but why is he lingering at the 6th rank peak? The third senior brother was also observing carefully, although he had already stepped into the 7th rank, watching and feeling more can't do him any harm. Not sure. Perhaps he's sensing the subtle changes from 6th rank to 7th rank? Maybe little junior brother really is. Other evolvers, even us, when breaking through from 6th to 7th rank, can't wait to step right into it, yet little junior brother is leisurely, comparing people. The second senior brother sighed. For a 6th rank evolver, stepping into the 7th rank is undoubtedly the most coveted thing. No 6th rank evolver could stay at the door to the 7th rank and shake it without immediately entering. Judging by the changes in aura, little junior brother's entry into the 7th rank should be a sure thing. The eldest senior brother declared decisively, having taken less than 2 years to complete the entire journey from 6th rank to the peak of the 7th rank, and the breakthrough was so smooth. The eldest senior brother simply thought Lin Yuan was abnormal. When he recalled the many setbacks and trials he faced when breaking through to the 7th rank, compared with his little junior brother. Compared to the 12 Peak Masters who were overwhelmed with emotion. At this moment, despite the calm appearance of the Qikuan Star Lord, there was a look of surprise and uncertainty in his heart. How do I feel the opening of a space? The Qikuan Star Lord was keenly sensing the changes in the aura coming from the 13 peaks below. Worried about affecting Lin Yuan's breakthrough, the Qikuan Star Lord dared not extend his perception into the 13 peaks. He could only rely on his own experience and the fluctuations of the power of space to speculate on some matters. Could it be? The Qikuan Star Lord himself, a starry sky wanderer Kuan, was a special space life form and was extremely sensitive to the fluctuations of space. At this moment, he faintly perceived that the spatial fluctuations produced by Lin Yuan's breakthrough were somewhat different from the normal transition from 6th rank to 7th. Could it be some special space treasure, or? The Qikuan Star Lord thought for a moment and couldn't help but speculate. He was just curious and had no other thoughts. After all, which evolver who managed to cultivate to the 6th or 7th rank didn't have some sort of special opportunity? The Qikuan Star Lord had his own, as did the 12 Peak Masters, so it was only natural for Lin Yuan to have a special space treasure. Time passed. Another half day went by. It should be stable now. Let's go wait outside the 13 peaks. Feeling that Lin Yuan's aura had fully stepped into the 7th rank, the Qikuan Star Lord led the 12 Peak Masters towards the outside of the 13 peaks. Little junior brother, you've really kept us in the dark. Indeed, this time we must find out exactly how he has been cultivating. What do you say when we meet him? Should I call him senior brother or junior brother? The 12 Peak Masters talked amongst themselves, while the 4th to 12th Masters were somewhat conflicted. In the human civilization of the universe, unless it's a direct blood relative, strength takes precedence. That is to say, even if a 7th rank evolver is younger, a 6th rank evolver must treat them as an elder upon meeting. The 4th peak master and the others weren't reluctant to call Lin Yuan senior brother, but having called him junior brother so many times before, the sudden change of status was a bit unfamiliar to them. Qikuan main star. As the most prosperous planet in a star domain, the Qikuan main star is filled with many powerful evolvers, with 4th and 5th ranks seen everywhere, and there were also numerous 6th rank fallen star warriors, and even 7th rank evolvers. Under the perception of so many powerful beings, the breakthrough aura emanating from the heart of the main star was naturally noticed by many 6th rank evolvers. Someone in the Red Kuan lineage has broken through to the 7th rank? The Qikuan Star Lord's level of mentoring disciples is really impressive. True, it's a pity the Qikuan Star Lord doesn't take many disciples. In 10,000 years he has only taken the 13 peak masters. The 6th rank evolvers on the main star chatted with each other, praising the Qikuan Star Lord's teaching methods. Right. Who do you think is the peak master that broke through to the 7th rank this time? A 6th rank evolver asked out of curiosity. They were unaware that at this moment, all 12 peak masters were not on Qikuan main star. It should be the 4th peak master, right? The 4th peak master has been at the 6th rank the longest, has the deepest accumulation, and is closest to the 7th rank. I think that's not right. The 6th peak master has the best talent and a special physique. Among the Qikuan Star Lord's disciples, I think he's the most likely to step into the 7th rank. The 6th peak master is indeed very likely, but in earlier years the 6th peak master was injured in a battle with a different species, which might affect his breakthrough to the 7th rank. I think the 8th peak master is the most likely. The 8th peak master? I think it's the 5th peak master. The multitude of 6th rank evolvers guessed all the 9 peak masters, from the 4th to the 12th, one by one. Each of these 9 masters was at the peak of the 6th rank, and being a disciple of a Star Lord, they all had the potential to step into the 7th rank. Though opinions among the 6th rank evolvers differed, there was a unified understanding or perhaps an assumption. That was, the peak master who was breaking through definitely could not be the 13th peak master. Read exclusive chapters at, if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 312 Exhale. Inhale. Deep within the Great Hall of the 13 Peaks, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, experiencing a significant transformation of both body and soul after entering the 7th rank. Now Lin Yuan, merely his foundational destructive power had surged dozens of times, and if the amplification from his understanding of the rules and the support of the Taiji inner world in his body were added, probably only 7th rank kings as evolvers could match Lin Yuan. Taiji inner world. Lin Yuan's mind plunged into the Dantian Qi Sea. A small world had already been formed there. Whoosh. Lin Yuan's mind descended into the small world. This was a small world swirling in black and white, where everything looked desolate at a glance. Yet Lin Yuan did not find it strange. The small world had just been created, everything was yet to be developed. Normally, the inner worlds of 8th rank evolvers are often about 100 miles in radius. But this small world of mine is merely 10 miles in radius? Lin Yuan looked around, thinking to himself. As the creator of this small world, Lin Yuan was like a god of creation, knowing everything inside the small world with just a thought. True. The inner worlds created by 8th rank evolvers have a strong physical body as their foundation, hence they can bear a world of 100 miles. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Evolver who can cultivate to the 8th rank at least follow the 8th rank evolutionary path. Such evolutionary paths are almost as strong as the current martial path evolutionary path, especially since they only try to create an inner world after reaching the peak of 7th rank. A 7th rank peak body and soul are naturally a bit stronger than Lin Yuan's 6th rank peak body and soul. The initial size of the inner worlds they create naturally has an advantage. Of course, your journey continues at the initial size of the inner world is irrelevant. Because the inner world has the attribute of growth, it can slowly expand. Currently Lin Yuan's inner world is only 10 miles in size, but as Lin Yuan's realm ascends and his strength increases, the inner world will grow to hundreds or even thousands of miles. The power of the world. Lin Yuan raised his right hand and observed it carefully. After the Taiji inner world formed, it began to emit the power of the world, slowly transforming Lin Yuan's body and soul. The power of the world, almost omnipotent, could enhance Lin Yuan's attacks, guard his body and soul, and also slowly improve various aspects. Although I've just entered the 7th rank with the boost from the power of the world, my actual combat power may have already reached the peak of 7th rank, Lin Yuan silently thought. The power of the world, that is an exclusive force of 8th rank evolvers. The inner world Lin Yuan had just opened, even if it was weaker than the inner worlds of 8th rank evolvers, still gave birth to the power of the world. Among the 7th rank evolvers, it was almost like cheating. Most importantly, most of those at the peak of the 7th rank, their upper limits were set in stone, and the only way to advance was to attempt to break through to the 8th rank. But Lin Yuan, his inner world had just been opened, possessing almost unlimited potential for growth, which might enable him someday to compete with 8th rank evolvers while still at the peak of the 7th rank. Inner world. Lin Yuan once again carefully felt the inner world inside his Dantian Qi Si. Although it was only 10 miles in radius, it was a complete world, its aura circulating perfectly. As long as Lin Yuan wished, outsiders couldn't detect the existence of the inner world. My God. Lin Yuan slightly raised his head, looking in the direction of battlefield C24763. With the breakthrough of his real body, even the Taiyin primordial spirit began to transform, its primordial spirit power becoming more and more pure, instantly reaching the 7th rank. It's a pity, the primordial spirit doesn't have a physical body and cannot give birth to an inner world. Lin Yuan shook his head lightly. However, if the Yin spirit and Yang spirit are combined, evolved Taiji, and are combined with an understanding of space rules, perhaps it could give birth to a phantom spiritual world? Lin Yuan speculated in his mind. A single Taiyin and Taiyang, even with the integration of space rules, couldn't form a complete world, but combined it's different. Have the teachers arrived? Lin Yuan glanced outside, immediately got up and walked out of the hall. Teacher. Fellow apprentice brothers. Lin Yuan came out and smiled. He didn't intend to conceal his breakthrough to the 7th rank, and it couldn't be concealed either. In human civilization, as long as Lin Yuan was part of the human race, the more terrifying his talent, the greater the resource tilt he would receive. Good disciple, Qikuan Star Lord smiled and looked at Lin Yuan. In less than 2 years, you've stepped into the 7th rank. That is much stronger than your teacher back then. Qikuan Star Lord himself took thousands of years to step into the 7th rank. However, Qikuan Star Lord's true form was the Starry Sky Wanderer Kuan. Such special beings generally require a long time to break through. And here, a long time, is relative to the human race. The lifespans of special beings are generally calculated in millions of years, and so-called thousands of years are just a few naps. Many special beings sleep for a few hundred or thousand years at a time, equivalent to half a lifetime for an ordinary human race evolver. Little junior brother, slow down your cultivation, any faster and you'll surpass me, third senior brother jokingly said from the side. In the Red Kuan lineage, the Great Peak Master is a 7th rank Peak King, while the 2nd and 3rd Peak Masters are 7th rank Marquis level. Lin Yuan had just entered the 7th rank and, in the eyes of his 3rd senior brother, was at the Marquis level within the 7th rank. So, the 3rd senior brother believed Lin Yuan hadn't surpassed him yet. However, in terms of pure combat power, perhaps only Qikuan Star Lord could suppress Lin Yuan. Otherwise, even the eldest senior brother might not be his match. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 313 There's no choice. The power of the world is too overpowered. Little Master, Zhugu and the others exchanged glances, hesitant to speak. There's no need to change how we address each other, my fellow brothers. Seeing this, Lin Yuan immediately spoke up. Ever since joining the Red Kuan lineage, his senior brothers like Zhugu and the others had taken great care of Lin Yuan, and their interactions were always pleasant. In such a situation, Lin Yuan didn't feel that stepping into the 7th rank made him superior to others, therefore maintaining the previous form of address was fine by him. Haha, my good disciple, if you do this, won't they lack the motivation to cultivate hard? As Zhugu and the others' faces lit up with joy, Qikuan Star Lord glared at the former. Teacher. The faces of Zhugu and the others immediately soured. This has nothing to do with whether one has the motivation or not, okay? Not everyone has the talent of our little brother here. For him, stepping into the 7th rank was as simple as eating and drinking. Alright, my good disciple, stepping into the 7th rank at your age is extremely rare in the entire history of the Anon Star Alliance. Qikuan Star Lord's expression grew serious. But don't get arrogant. With your talent, reaching the 7th rank isn't much. The 8th layer is your target, or even surpassing the 8th layer. Let's not talk about surpassing the 8th layer for now, let's first discuss the 8th layer. Qikuan Star Lord said, pausing for a moment before continuing. To break through to the 8th layer, there are 3 prerequisite conditions. First, one must open up an inner world. For a 7th rank evolver, an inner world is the foundation of their being, and manipulating the power of the world is the most powerful method for an evolver of the 8th layer. Indeed. Lin Yuan nodded. He had also opened up his inner world and deeply understood this point. Second, one must have a sufficiently strong mental will. This can only rely on oneself. Without strong mental willpower, one might fall into a state of decline during the breakthrough to the 8th layer. By then, even if one has opened up an inner world, it would be in vain, akin to being a living dead. Qikuan Star Lord said this, his tone slightly grave. To open up an inner world, one could employ certain methods to assist, such as the world fruit. Of course, the world fruit is too luxurious, but treasures just a notch below it could still offer substantial help. But mental willpower? That could only be accumulated by oneself. Many 7th rank evolvers in history have failed at this step. Understood. Lin Yuan nodded. To put it simply, if using the terms of the Immortal Tao world as an example, then breaking from the 7th to the 8th rank would require facing the heart demon tribulation. The heart demon tribulation emerges from within the heart. External objects are of no use, one can only rely on oneself. Qikuan Star Lord emphasized this point precisely because Lin Yuan was very young, and perhaps not adept at dealing with inner demons. Normally speaking, the longer one lives, the more one experiences, the higher the chances of overcoming the heart demon tribulation. Third, when you reach the limit of the 7th rank, you will naturally understand. Qikuan Star Lord did not elaborate further, feeling that it was unnecessary for Lin Yuan, who had just entered the 7th rank, to know too much. All right. It's time for us to go back. You've just stepped into the 7th rank, take some time to get familiar with your power. Qikuan Star Lord glanced at the big senior brother and said, the news of your brother's breakthrough will be announced by you. Yes. The big senior brother nodded and smiled. Right now, everyone outside is speculating about which peak master has stepped into the 7th rank. Qikuan Main Star. Many forces were looking forward with great anticipation, waiting for the Red Kuan lineage to announce the news. According to the Red Kuan lineage's tradition, the advancement of each peak master into the 7th rank was always heavily publicized. After all, the addition of another 7th rank enhances the lineage's foundation. I'm certain it must be the 4th peak master. Don't talk nonsense. The 6th peak master is the strongest. I like to go against the flow. I think it's the 12th peak master. The many forces were in a heated debate, with 7th rank evolvers who were familiar with several peak masters discreetly making contacts, hoping to get insider information. Yet none received a response from the peak masters. Half a day later, the Red Kuan lineage finally made public which peak master had stepped into the 7th rank. The announcement is out. Which peak master is it exactly? Let me see, it's Peak Master Shirsan stepping into the 7th rank. Huh? Peak Master Shirsan? The many forces first fell into silence. They seemed to need a moment to figure out exactly who this Peak Master Shirsan was. But shortly thereafter there was an uproar. Experience tales with Peak Master Shirsan? Isn't Peak Master Shirsan the new disciple of the Star Lord? Right, not long ago Peak Master Shirsan had just stepped into the 6th rank. I remember that Peak Master Shirsan came from some middle-grade life planet. Has Peak Master Shirsan stepped into the 7th rank, or is there some mistake? Countless forces were buzzing with conversation, some in disbelief. Even if it had been the 12th Peak Master stepping into the 7th rank, it would be more acceptable than Peak Master Shirsan making such advancement. But the announcements issued by the Red Kuan lineage are never wrong. If it says it's the 13th Peak Master, then it certainly is the 13th Peak Master. My heavens, just how terrifying is the talent of the 13th Peak Master. In less than 2 years he has spanned from 6th rank to 7th rank. Woo, in 2 years, I'm still stuck at the 4th stage 3rd class. I don't want to live. After the initial confusion on Qikuan Main Star, numerous powers immediately launched into even more frenetic discussions. Kanglan Star. Compared to Qikuan Main Star, which detected right away that someone from the Red Kuan lineage had stepped into 7th rank, Kanglan Star didn't receive any news at all, and even if they had, they probably wouldn't have given it much thought. After all, Even the countless citizens of Kanglan Star wouldn't believe that the peak master who entered 7th rank could be Lin Yuan, who had just become the 13th peak master 2 years prior. That was until the news released by the Red Kuan lineage spread. What? Lin Yuan has stepped into 7th rank? So fast. A few years ago during the arena competition wasn't Lin Yuan just at 5th rank? Now he's at 7th rank? The entire population of Kanglan Star, hundreds of billions of citizens, was completely stirred up after receiving the news. In actuality, Lin Yuan becoming a peak master and stepping into 7th rank didn't bring much tangible benefit to the vast majority of Kanglan Star's citizens. The so-called allocation of resources is something that would take hundreds of years to become noticeable. But Lin Yuan came from Kanglan Star, and now that Kanglan Star had produced such an important figure, all citizens of Kanglan Star felt a genuine sense of honor welling up from the bottom of their hearts. 13 peak master of the Red Kuan lineage. The high and mighty 7th rank evolver. An extraordinary figure that many high-grade life planets can't produce. And he hails from their Kanglan Star? Wanyang Star Domain. Wanyang Holy Land. The Wanyang Holy Sun sat cross-legged on the surface of a sun, swallowing huge amounts of light and heat into his mouth. As a rare carrier of the 9-yang divine meridian, the Wanyang Holy Sun was almost immune to scorching heat and had an extremely high affinity for the laws of the fire system. Now that he had stepped into 6th rank, he could even walk and cultivate on the surface of a sun. Keep in mind, even 6th rank peak evolvers wouldn't dare to approach a sun casually. 6th rank evolvers are said to be capable of striking down ordinary stars. But that's only talking about ordinary planets, whereas a sun. To be called a sun, its volume must be at least tens of millions of times that of an ordinary planet. The cultivation ended. The Wanyang Holy Sun connected to the virtual world. Rejected again? The Wanyang Holy Sun glanced at the challenge he had applied for. Ever since stepping into 6th rank, he would challenge Lin Yuan every once in a while. After all, during the limit of 5th rank, Lin Yuan's last 3 slaps had made him spit blood and concede defeat voluntarily, a shame that the Wanyang Holy Sun couldn't wash away from his mind. Now having entered 6th rank with the 9-yang divine meridian further developed, in addition to the many secret techniques of the Wanyang Holy Land, the Wanyang Holy Sun believed he could regain his honor. Could it be that he dares not? The Wanyang Holy Sun wore a puzzled expression. To him, Lin Yuan repeatedly rejecting his challenge could only mean one thing. Whoosh! Just then, a black-haired elder appeared. Your Highness. The black-haired elder bowed slightly to the Wanyang Holy Sun. What is it? The Wanyang Holy Sun was contemplating the matter with Lin Yuan and asked casually. Your Highness, you asked me to keep an eye on the news about the 13 peak master of the Red Kuan lineage. The black-haired elder inquired carefully. Oh. What news? The Wanyang Holy Sun suddenly showed interest. To him, Lin Yuan had special significance, so he had instructed his subordinates to pay more attention to news related to Lin Yuan. Your Highness, I have just received news that a peak master of the Red Kuan lineage has stepped into 7th rank. The black-haired elder paused, speaking with increased caution. Oh. Upon hearing this, the Wanyang Holy Sun's interest waned. He was only interested in the 13 peak master. As for other peak masters of the Red Kuan lineage stepping into 7th rank, what did that have to do with him? The rise of a 7th rank evolver is indeed a major event for a star domain. But looking at the Star Alliance and even other nearby star alliances, almost every so often an evolver steps into 7th rank. Your Highness, the peak master who has stepped into 7th rank, the black-haired elder persisted, is the 13 peak master. Frobno. Calm. The Wanyang Holy Sun was momentarily taken aback, then reacted with a start, standing up and staring at the black-haired elder. What did you say? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 3:14. Wanyang Holy Sun was somewhat bewildered. He almost thought he had heard wrong. But at his level it was impossible to mishear. The black-haired elder had indeed said, it is the peak master of 13 peaks who has stepped into 7th rank. This was beyond doubt. So Wanyang Holy Sun could only wonder, had the black-haired elder misspoken? For instance, had he mistakenly added the word 3, and it was actually the peak master of 10 who had advanced to 7th rank? Your Highness, when I first received this message I also found it absurd, but afterwards it was confirmed repeatedly over and over again. The result was the same. The black-haired elder spoke cautiously. He was well aware of how desperately Wanyang Holy Sun had wanted to battle the Peak Master of 13 Peaks, and how deeply the challenge at the limit of 5th rank had impacted Wanyang Holy Sun. All along, Wanyang Holy Sun had been on a smooth path, endowed with the 9 Yang Divine Meridian, and further supported by Wanyang Star Lord's cultivation. This made Wanyang Holy Sun far ahead of his peers. However, on that stage, the Peak Master of 13 Peaks shattered Wanyang Holy Sun's confidence with 3 slaps. That overwhelming battle made Wanyang Holy Sun admit defeat and immediately begin closed-door cultivation, striving to reach 6th rank. Compared to other evolvers, Wanyang Holy Sun's 9 Yang Divine Meridian, upon stepping into 6th rank, would undergo a transformation, something not found in other 6th rank evolvers. It was precisely because of this. Knowing Lin Yuan's formidable strength, which was displayed at the peak of 5th rank, and would only be more frightening after advancing to 6th rank, Wanyang Holy Sun still confidently initiated a challenge request. However, Lin Yuan declined several times, which puzzled Wanyang Holy Sun. And now, Wanyang Holy Sun fell silent. His consciousness began connecting to the virtual network. He quickly saw the announcement issued by Red Kuan lineage. Below the announcement, countless evolvers left comments, all shocked by the Peak Master of 13 Peaks stepping into 7th rank. Wanyang Holy Sun carefully read through the announcement, and read it several times over before sitting down again. The Peak Master of 13 Peaks, Wanyang Holy Sun's gaze was complex. He did not doubt the authenticity of the announcement. Such announcements released by Red Kuan lineage carry high authority, undergoing multiple verifications, and ultimately must be authorized by the Star Lord before their release. Since Red Kuan lineage dared to issue this announcement and so much time had passed without any changes, this meant the Peak Master who stepped into the 7th rank is indeed the Peak Master of 13 Peaks. Given the status of Chikuan Star Lord, there was no need to lie about who had advanced to 7th rank, as it would soon become evident. How could it be this fast? Wanyang Holy Sun was somewhat lost. Stepping into 7th rank wasn't something one could just decide to achieve, it required sufficient accumulation and inherent foundation. Wanyang Holy Sun believed he had enough accumulated foundation, but even attempting to reach 7th rank would need at least 10 to several decades. This was despite the fact that Wanyang Holy Sun had been sealed in a Wanyang True Crystal and cast into a star to sleep for nearly 100 years upon birth. Effectively, during those 100 years, Wanyang Holy Sun was always in a state of cultivation, but all that cultivation simply accumulated into his foundation, just awaiting his transition to 6th rank to gradually come to fruition. To think I still wanted to challenge him? Wanyang Holy Sun's smile was somewhat mocking. He had wondered why the Peak Master of 13 Peaks had repeatedly declined his requests. Could it be that he was scared? Now it seemed that the Peak Master probably felt that accepting the challenge would be bullying him. Your Highness, you're all right? The black-haired elder asked tentatively, worried that with Wanyang Holy Sun's pride, he might not recover from this blow. Don't worry about me. Wanyang Holy Sun shook his head. Looking at the black-haired elder, he said, Go request a piece of Wanyang True Crystal from the teacher. I want to enter the star's interior for cultivation. The temperature inside a star is many times that of the surface. Wanyang Holy Sun, with his physical constitution, could manage to stay on the surface of a star for a while, but to dare enter the interior of a star would be suicidal. Yet, by relying on himself, unable to withstand the high temperatures inside the star, he could still use external objects like the Wanyang True Crystal, a fire system rarity, to help Wanyang Holy Sun delve deeper into the star. With the terrifying heat and flames inside the star, even with the buffering isolation of Wanyang True Crystal, Wanyang Holy Sun would endure endless pain, and a slight mishap could turn him to ash. When Wanyang Holy Sun was first born, he was sealed into a Wanyang True Crystal and thrown into a star's interior because Wanyang Star Lord used other methods. But that kind of method cannot be used a second time, so now, even with the protection of Wanyang True Crystal, Wanyang Holy Sun entering the interior of a star must still face a life risk. Your Highness, the black-haired elder hesitated. Just do as I say. Wanyang Holy Sun's gaze was determined. So what if the Peak Master of 13 Peaks entered 7th rank? Give him 5 or 10 years to cultivate painfully within the star, and he too could step into 7th rank. At that time he, Wanyang Holy Sun, would again challenge the Peak Master of 13 Peaks. Chikuan Main Star. Deep within the 13 Peaks Great Hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, his consciousness connected to the virtual world. Personal space. The form of Lin Yuan appeared out of thin air. After synchronizing his power level, Lin Yuan's physical soul in the virtual world also reached the 7th rank tier. Experience more content on and with no difference from reality, deep within his Dantian Qi Si, a Taiji small world slowly revolved. Simulate a cosmic environment. With a slight thought from Lin Yuan, the surroundings began to change. A constellation appeared, a massive star emitting light and heat in the distance, while 12 planets revolved around it. Phew. Lin Yuan withdrew his gaze. For a 7th rank evolver, only under the cosmic starry skies could they fully unleash their capabilities, as ordinary planets rather serve as shackles. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 315. Of course, battlefields of different races measured in light years can also withstand the expansion of 7th rank and even 8th rank evolvers. Boom boom boom. Lin Yuan slightly activated the power of the world and raised his right hand, striking a distant planet from afar. Boom boom boom. The immense power, traveling through the vacuum, propagated continuously, with space faintly warping. Soon, a planet millions of kilometers away exploded into countless fragments with a bang, shooting off in all directions. A casual strike can shatter a star. Continue reading on M_Freeweb novel. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Although 6th rank evolvers, known as Fallen Star Warriors, could down stars, it would take their full strength and at least several strikes to penetrate a planet. As for turning a planet into countless fragments, it's estimated that only a 6th rank peak evolver could achieve that. Yet Lin Yuan did it with a casual strike, without even using an understanding of the rules, relying only on the enhancement of the world's power. The power of the world is too abnormal. Lin Yuan felt somewhat emotional. The difference between having the power of the world's enhancement and not having it was stark. My inner world is currently only 10 li in size. The power of the world it has given rise to is this formidable. If it were to reach the standard of an 8th rank evolver, 100 li in size, wouldn't that be? Lin Yuan's expression was full of anticipation. Of course. Novel. Lin Yuan was also aware. Even if the inner world grew to 100 li wide, it would be hard to compete with a true 8th rank evolver. After all, 8th rank evolvers possess not just an inner world. The understanding of the rules by their physical soul and so on far surpasses that of 7th rank evolvers in every aspect. To step into the 8th rank, the first requirement is to open up an inner world, which I have already achieved, so there's no need to worry. Lin Yuan disconnected from the virtual world and returned to reality. Opening up an inner world in advance was immensely beneficial to Lin Yuan. Combat power was secondary. More importantly, by observing the operation of the inner world, Lin Yuan could achieve a deeper understanding of the rules. Although the inner world was far from comparable to the main world universe starry sky, even less to the 5 worlds that Lin Yuan had previously traveled through. But it was, after all, a complete world. No matter how small a mosquito is, it is still alive. As for the second point, I need a sufficiently resolute spiritual will to face the heart demon tribulation when breaking through to the 8th rank. Lin Yuan fell into contemplation. Unlike strength, spiritual will is hard to measure. Maybe the spiritual will of some ordinary mortals is even stronger than that of 6th rank or 7th rank evolvers. Take it slow, there's no rush. Lin Yuan thought to himself. One method among many evolvers in the main world for strengthening their spiritual will was to live. Only by living through the long years, surviving thousands or even tens of thousands of years, experiencing various emotions, and witnessing the passing of close friends and loved ones right before one's eyes, etc. The spiritual will naturally grows slowly, finally reaching the level needed to withstand the heart demon tribulation. The time and years I've spent traveling through other worlds should also be tempering my spiritual will, right? Lin Yuan was in a good mood. At the frontier regions of human civilization, several terrifying wills penetrated through and descended. What's going on? Wasn't it said that Shirshan Peak Master's talents were just stronger than the other Peak Masters? How has he stepped into the 7th rank in just a few years? Is this what you call slightly stronger? The leading consciousness let out a huge mental fluctuation and roared. Just spending less than 2 years to progress from the initial 6th rank to stepping into the 7th rank, such talent, if allowed to grow for hundreds or thousands of years, then what? If they had known about Shirshan Peak Master's talent earlier, the several large clans would have tried to eliminate him at all costs, even if it required a great sacrifice. It's better to pay the price now. It's much better than paying the price on the battlefields against other races in the future. I'm not sure either. Who was it that determined Xianxia Peak Master's talent back then? They must be severely punished. The second consciousness immediately spoke with a stern tone, as if determined to get to the bottom of it. Actually, it's not even the fault of the subordinates. Xianxia Peak Master was too low profile. Except when he was about to break through the 6th rank, and began challenging the 5th rank evolvers of various star domains, who knew Xianxia Peak Master's details. The third consciousness couldn't help but interject. This was indeed the case. Brilliant evolvers like Wanyang Holy Sun had their information widely spread across many star domains. But what about Xianxia Peak Master? It's pointless to talk about this now. What should we do? The fourth consciousness sent out mental fluctuations. What should we do? What can we do now? The first will that roared out spoke somewhat helplessly. Now that Peak Master Xianxia had stepped into the 7th rank, trying to kill him with a curse was simply not realistic anymore. And even if they succeeded in cursing him to death, given the talent disclosed by Peak Master Xianxia, it was estimated that a supreme being would immediately take action to resurrect him, without even having to wait. Indeed, there's no chance anymore. Peak Master Xianxia is too cautious. After stepping into the 6th rank, he has always stayed on the Qikuan main star, never venturing out. Right? If he doesn't come out, what can we do? Several consciousnesses exchanged thoughts constantly, their tones filled with helplessness. Perhaps, thousands of years from now, in the battlefields we open up with the human race, a second Qikuan Star Lord might emerge. By then, who knows how many of our people will die? The first consciousness fell silent for a moment. A second Qikuan Star Lord? The rest of the consciousnesses shuddered at the thought. The Qikuan Star Lord, that was a nearly invincible existence among the 8th layer evolvers. Even in a medium-sized otherworldly battlefield, the Qikuan Star Lord was formidable enough to run rampant. As the bodily incarnation Starry Sky Wanderer Kuan, he was unbridled and had devoured countless other 8th layer evolvers of different species. Only the lofty 9th rank alien race could make the Qikuan Star Lord a little wary. On the Qikuan main star, Lin Yuan was about to continue his cultivation. Just then, the voice of the smart assistant suddenly rang out. Master, the Star Alliance Conference is about to convene. Do you wish to participate? The Star Alliance Conference? Lin Yuan was slightly startled. Information about the Star Alliance Conference flashed quickly through his mind. The Star Alliance Conference, also known as the Anan Star Alliance Conference. It was a grand event of the Anan Star Alliance, held once every century. The Anan Star Alliance is a massive alliance made up of hundreds of star domains. With complex internal relationships, the division of interests among many star domains could not be resolved in a short time. Therefore, the Star Alliance Conference was established. The purpose of the Star Alliance Conference was to resolve the many internal conflicts within the Anan Star Alliance. As for why the 3 goddesses did not intervene, they were absolutely just, but there were some issues that could not be resolved by justice alone and could provoke greater hidden dangers instead. Additionally, the Star Alliance Conference also made changes to all policies within the alliance to better suit the customs of its citizens. The Qikuan Star Domain was one of the powerful star domains within the Anan Star Alliance. Therefore, the smart assistant asked Lin Yuan if he wished to participate in the Star Alliance Conference. Of course, not just anyone could participate in the Star Alliance Conference. At such a level that related to the decision-making for a star domain, one had to be at least a 6th-level citizen to have the qualification and right to intervene. Not long ago, before Lin Yuan undertook his 5th passage, he had accumulated enough merits to ascend to a 6th-level citizen and casually had his citizen level raised to the 6th level. Now he had the qualifications to participate in the Star Alliance Conference. A 6th-level citizen merely met the threshold to participate in the Star Alliance Conference. They had the right to vote, whereas 7th-level citizens would automatically become members of Parliament of the Anan Star Alliance, with real decision-making power. The Star Alliance Conference? Lin Yuan thought for a moment. He was not normally interested in such activities, but if it were not for the immense importance of the Star Alliance Conference, which could determine the situation and status of hundreds of star domains, and because Lin Yuan had reached the threshold for participation, the smart assistant probably wouldn't have reminded him specially. I understand. Lin Yuan nodded, dismissing the smart assistant. Should I attend or not? Lin Yuan pondered in his heart. Forget it. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. No matter how important the Star Alliance Conference was, it held no meaning for him. He would be better off using that time to further understand the rules and perfect the 7th ranked chapter of his martial path evolutionary path. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 316. No matter which world you're in, power is the foundation of everything. If the Star Alliance conference can't bring Lin Yuan substantial help, then there's no need to waste energy on it. Verb novel. Should I still ask about it? Lin Yuan finished his training for the day and connected his consciousness to the virtual world. A personal space. A burly red-nosed old man sat leisurely at a dining table, occasionally lifting the wine jug in front of him to take a sip, his face full of enjoyment. Just then Lin Yuan's figure appeared. Haha, Xianxia, come over here. This wine is truly excellent, a rarity. Out there, I couldn't afford it, I can only enjoy it in the virtual world, the red-nosed elder immediately called out. Shifeng, old brother, every time I see you you're drinking. Lin Yuan walked over and sat opposite the red-nosed elder. The red-nosed elder, Shifeng, was a good friend Lin Yuan had made in the Founder's Circle, and he was also a founder of an evolution path. Since both were from the Anan Star Alliance, the red-nosed elder, Shifeng, would often pull Lin Yuan along to drink. Over time the two became familiar with each other. Compared to Lin Yuan, Shifeng was much older, having lived for tens of thousands of years, and his citizen level had also reached level 6. Wine is such a wonderful thing, that feeling of being tipsy, the red-nosed elder, Shifeng, remarked nostalgically. With his strength he could sober up with just a thought, but why should he? Wasn't it nice to indulge in the state of inebriation? Good wine. Lin Yuan picked up a cup and took a small taste before nodding slightly. In the virtual world, wine was a pure luxury. Many fine wines in reality had miraculous effects, such as improving the body, nourishing the soul, or healing injuries, among others. But in the virtual world, wine was left only with its taste. Precisely because of this, the wine in the virtual world was much cheaper than in reality. The wine Lin Yuan had just drunk, called dream wine, could purify one's soul. In the real world, a single cup would cost at least 1 billion civilization currency. But in the virtual world it was merely 10 million per cup, 100 times cheaper. Alright Xianxia, you came to see me for something, didn't you? After some casual conversation, Shifeng took the initiative to ask. Xianxia. That was the name Lin Yuan had given himself in the Founder's world. I wanted to inquire about the Star Alliance conference, Lin Yuan asked directly. Although Lin Yuan wasn't particularly interested in such conferences, he still wanted to hear what Shifeng thought. Your journey continues on as a fellow citizen of level 6. Shifeng, who had lived for tens of thousands of years, had much better connections and insight than Lin Yuan. The Star Alliance Conference? Oh, it's time for the Star Alliance Conference again. The red-nosed Shifeng suddenly realized. Shifeng, old brother, do you think it's necessary to attend the Star Alliance Conference? Lin Yuan shared his doubts. Necessary to attend? The red-nosed Shifeng instantly perked up. Of course you should participate. Why pass up on a chance for free treasures? Free? Lin Yuan was slightly puzzled. Could the Anan Star Alliance be so wealthy as to give treasures to every level 6 citizen that attended the conference? That's true. You're still young, Xianxia, only recently advanced to a level 6 citizen, and not familiar with the rules here. A smile appeared on the face of the red-nosed Shifeng. The purpose of the Star Alliance Conference is to resolve many interstellar conflicts within the Alliance, but how are they resolved? For instance, who should own a rare resource planet that appears on the border of 2 star domains? Or, when the resources allocated by human civilization are only sufficient for 3 star domains, how should we choose? The red-nosed Shifeng said, clicking his tongue. Right, to whom should they go? Lin Yuan also became interested. Such questions were difficult to delineate clearly. Even if the 3 goddesses intervened, siding with one party would surely offend the other. Could it be that they would split the resource planet in half, giving each party an equal share? That's where we come in. The red-nosed Shifeng smiled. At the Star Alliance Conference, the issues between star domains are brought to the table, and ultimately, we vote to decide. The side with more votes wins. So that's how it is, Lin Yuan realized. Of course, issues that made it to the Star Alliance Conference were usually those where both sides had equally valid arguments. Slightly clearer controversies would have already been adjudicated by the 3 goddesses. So, our voting rights as level 6 citizens are very precious, the red-nosed Shifeng hinted. Precious? Lin Yuan looked towards the red-nosed Shifeng. Because the two conflicting star domains will pay a huge price to curry favor with us, hoping we will cast our votes for them during the conference resolution, the red-nosed Shifeng said. I see, Lin Yuan nodded. In simple terms, when facing issues even the three goddesses could not decide upon, or rather no matter which side wins, it wouldn't affect the overall situation of human civilization, then it was left to the higher-level citizens to determine. The unsolvable conflicts between star domains are not many, and each Star Alliance conference has only about a dozen or so. Shirsan, as long as it doesn't involve your star domain, how we vote is up to us, isn't it? The red-nosed Shifeng said with a grin. Quite interesting. Lin Yuan laughed as well. In fact, this was also a reflection of the special status of high-level citizens. Being part of the decision-making powers for hundreds of star domains. Besides, after every Star Alliance conference, we higher-level citizens will hold a few swap meets while we're still around, to exchange for the resources and treasures we need. The red-nosed Shifeng continued. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 317. Although the Human Civilization Alliance has a dedicated marketplace app for selling all kinds of treasures, some rare and precious treasures are often in short supply, and these exchange meetings exist for such rare and valuable items. This is actually pretty good. Lin Yuan thought of the weapons and treasures of several different species he had acquired on the battlefields of different races, as well as the inheritance from the 8th layer evolutionist Oin. Many of them were items he didn't need. Selling them directly to human civilization would be too much of a loss. Instead, it would be possible to dispose of them through these exchange meetings. Are you now participating or not? Shifeng asked. I'll participate, Lin Yuan nodded. The premise of his lack of interest in the Star Alliance conference was that it was unable to bring any benefit to himself. But now, after hearing Shifeng's description for 6th-level citizens like them, participating in the Star Alliance conference could be very profitable. Ha! Shifeng laughed heartily. By the way, Shirsan, do you need me to introduce you to those star domains that need votes? Continue your adventure at Shifeng inquired. If Lin Yuan had no star domains in mind to vote for, he could sell his vote at a high price to those star domains that needed it. Thanks a lot, brother Shifeng, Lin Yuan replied seriously upon hearing this. Arranging such connections was not something the ordinary evolver could accomplish. It required someone with extensive connections. No need to thank me. We are friends? Shifeng waved his hand and then said, just wait for me a moment, Shirsan. After Shifeng finished speaking, his figure disappeared from sight. He obviously went to make contact. Lin Yuan sat down and waited for a while. A moment later, Shifeng reappeared. Besides, a young man also appeared beside him. This is Shirsan, you can discuss your star domain's matters directly with him, said Shifeng casually. Mr. Shirsan, the young man gave a slight bow to Lin Yuan and said, My name is Na Dan from the Wangyue Starfield. This time, the conflict between our Wangyue Starfield and the Golden Dragon Star domain will be brought up at the Star Alliance conference. At that time, we hope that Mr. Shirsan will vote for our Wangyue Starfield. After speaking, the young man Na Dan respectfully placed a piece of white paper on the dining table. If Mr. Shirsan agrees, the resources of treasures listed above will be your reward. With a slight bow to Shifeng, the young man Na Dan then stepped out of the personal space. TSK Wangyue Starfield really has it tough. Less powerful than the Golden Dragon Star domain, they can only seek help like this, Shifeng remarked with a bit of emotion. Some powerful star domains have nurtured many 6th-level citizens who naturally vote for their homelands during the Star Alliance conference. On the contrary, weaker star domains with few 6th-level citizens can only pay a huge price to seek help from 6th-level citizens of other star domains. The three goddesses are aware of this situation, yet they do not stop it, with the goal of motivating the various star domains to cultivate more high-level citizens. Becoming a high-level citizen doesn't require one to pioneer an evolution path or to engage in research and invention only. Heading to the battlefields of different races and fighting with different species could also earn a lot of merit points. Let's take a look at the terms given by the Wangyue Starfield. Shifeng glanced at the piece of white paper in front of Lin Yuan. Wangyue Starfield? Lin Yuan thought for a moment. If he remembered correctly, this should be the home star domain of the 8th layer evolutionist Oin, shouldn't it? Let me take a look. Lin Yuan picked up the white paper, sharing the view with Shifeng. A 7th rank soul defense treasure. Shi Feng was somewhat astonished. The first treasure listed on the white paper already had him intrigued. This was a soul defense treasure, essential for guarding the soul, coveted by evolvers from all evolution paths. A thought flickered in Lin Yuan's mind. Although he owned an 8th rank soul defense treasure, that one was damaged and the time required for repairing it was unknown. In the meantime, using a 7th rank soul defense treasure as a substitute would not be a problem. Lin Yuan wasn't worried about what to do with the 7th rank soul defense treasure after the 8th rank soul defense treasure was repaired. Treasures like these, which guard the soul, were never hard to dispose of. Lin Yuan could sell it at a premium whenever he wished. Lin Yuan's gaze moved away from the first line on the white paper. He looked at the second line. Fragment of Jianghu, containing a great amount of life force, capable of remolding the flesh for a 7th rank evolver once. Comparing to the 7th rank soul defense treasure, the second item, the fragment of Jianghu, was somewhat less impressive, especially for Lin Yuan who possessed the blood rebirth divine skill. It's fairly superfluous. Yet just because Lin Yuan didn't need it didn't mean other evolvers wouldn't. It could be sold or traded for other items. Lin Yuan continued to look at the third line on the white paper. Aquamarine Vishuddha water, can purify bodily impurities and consolidate the origin source of the flesh. The Wangyue starfield is quite sincere. After looking at the 3 treasures, Lin Yuan nodded slightly. These 3 treasures were all desirable by 7th rank evolvers, especially the first one. I agree to their terms? Lin Yuan looked toward Shi Feng with the red nose. Whether it was the Wangyue starfield or the Golden Dragon Star domain, neither had much to do with Lin Yuan. Voting for either side wouldn't impact Lin Yuan much. Don't rush. Let's first see what the Golden Dragon Star domain's attitude is. Having said that, Shi Feng disappeared once again. When Shi Feng returned, a tall man dressed in a golden robe appeared beside him. Tianzhao, that Wangyue starfield offered a not insignificant price for Shirsan's agreement. You'd have to up your game. Shi Feng reminded him. It was clear that the man in the golden robe, named Tianzhao, came from the Golden Dragon Star domain. Mr. Shirsan? The man in the golden robe, Tianzhao, scrutinized Lin Yuan carefully. Mr. Shirsan, is this your first time attending the Star Alliance conference? Tianzhao inquired. Indeed it is. Lin Yuan nodded. The Star Alliance conference was held once every 100 years, and for a 6th-level citizen, a century wasn't that long. Even if some weren't well acquainted, they more or less knew each other. Since that's the case, Mr. Shirsan, do you know about the strength of my Golden Dragon Star domain? Tianzhao continued to ask. Upon his inquiry, Lin Yuan remained unperturbed. However, Shi Feng frowned. Tianzhao, what do you mean by that? If you want Shirsan to vote for the Golden Dragon Star domain, then just present your offer instead of beating around the bush with all that nonsense. Offer. Tianzhao shook his head. I'm here only to meet Mr. Shirsan and exchange a few words with him. Mr. Shirsan, you have recently become a 6th-level citizen. You shouldn't make an enemy of my Golden Dragon Star domain. Before Tianzhao could finish, get lost. Shi Feng, full of impatience, kicked the other person out of the personal space. This Tianzhao is too arrogant. Who is he threatening? Shi Feng appeared somewhat agitated. I thought that the Wangyue starfield would put some pressure on the Golden Dragon Star domain, but they came straight with threats? No matter. Lin Yuan wasn't bothered. If an agreement couldn't be reached, then there was no need to negotiate. They'll go have a word with that Tianzhao, see where he gets the guts from. Shi Feng vanished once again. In another personal space, Shi Feng glared at the man in the golden robe. What do you mean, Tianzhao? Shirsan is a friend of mine. Even if you don't need Shirsan's vote, there's no need to put it that way. Shi Feng's tone was dissatisfied. Shi Feng, you should know, with the strength of my Golden Dragon Star domain, even if the Wangyue starfield went around seeking help everywhere, they can't beat us, Tianzhao stated indifferently. This was the confidence of coming from a powerful star domain. The Golden Dragon Star domain, with the 6th-level citizens it cultivated on its own, was the sum of several or even 10 star domains. Brother Shi Feng, how long have you known Shirsan? You're this considerate of him already. You just like befriending those so-called friends? Tianzhao shook his head as he spoke. So-called friends? Shi Feng's expression turned peculiar. Although Shirsan just became a 6th-level citizen, he's definitely not over 1,000 years old. His future potential is limitless. Why else do you think I'd befriend him? Shi Feng sighed. By treating Shirsan so disrespectfully, there's nothing I can do. But in a few thousand or tens of thousands of years, when Shirsan has grown stronger, I hope you can still act like you do today. A 6th-level citizen under 1,000 years old? Jin Tianzhao's expression shifted slightly, then he calmed down. So what? Is he going to become a 7th-level citizen in the future? Even if he becomes a 7th-level citizen, he's no threat to my Golden Dragon Star domain. It's simply that, Jin Tianzhao said lightly, we stay out of each other's business, that's all. Stay out of each other's business? Shifeng gave Jin Tianzhao a glance before turning and leaving. Stay out of each other's business? Who is the insignificant well water, and who is the boundless river water? Heaven knows. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 318 Personal Space. Lin Yuan raised the glass on the table and took a casual sip. This Golden Dragon Star domain is truly domineering, to actually threaten a 6th-level citizen? Lin Yuan put down the glass and shook his head slightly. But as 6th-level citizens there are distinctions. Some evolvers became 6th-level citizens by slaying different species, earning a large number of merit points in the process. Others advanced to 6th-level citizenship through invention and research, breaking new ground in technological achievements. And there were evolvers like Lin Yuan who opened up an evolution path, ultimately advancing to 6th-level citizenship. Without a doubt, those who open up evolution paths are the rarest among 6th-level citizens. Lin Yuan and Shifeng belong to this category, or rather high-level citizens from the Founder's virtual world all fall into this group. But no matter how rare, they were still only 6th-level citizens. Within the Human Civilization Alliance, 6th-level citizens have a very high status, but unless they hold important positions they don't have much power. Ordinary evolvers and citizens dare not show any disrespect when they meet a 6th-level citizen, but the Golden Dragon Star domain is different. As one of the top 3 powerful star domains in the Anon Star Alliance, the Golden Dragon Star domain does not need to please other 6th-level citizens as much as the Wangyue Starfield strives to do. After all, the Golden Dragon Star domain itself has cultivated many 6th-level citizens and has numerous friends. Such is the confidence of a powerful star domain. That's also true. After all, I have not revealed my other identities. In the eyes of Jin Tianzhao, I am just a newly promoted 6th-level citizen, likely to remain so for the rest of my life, so there's no need to take me too seriously, Lin Yuan thought to himself. A 6th-level citizen who wishes to advance to 7th-level citizenship needs 2 million merit points. Such a vast amount of merit points gives even the Golden Dragon Star domain a headache, let alone a newly promoted 6th-level citizen. Nearly 99% of 6th-level citizens are unable to accumulate 2 million merit points in their lifetime. Shirsan. At this moment, Shifeng returned and greeted Lin Yuan. That Jin Tianzhao, he's just like that, too proud, don't take it to heart, Shifeng comforted. He only had a casual acquaintance with Jin Tianzhao. If it wasn't for the affair between the Wangyue Starfield and the Golden Dragon Star domain, he wouldn't have invited Jin Tianzhao over. It's fine, Lin Yuan said with a smile. It didn't matter whether it was Jin Tianzhao or even the Golden Dragon Star domain. At most, they would make empty threats. As for going further, they wouldn't dare. The 3 goddesses of the Human Alliance were not for show. Prohibiting escalation of internal conflicts was a red line. Besides, even if Jin Tianzhao wanted to do something, he did not know Lin Yuan's true identity. The identity that Lin Yuan showed to the outside world was, at most, that of a 6th-level citizen of the Anon Star Alliance, with good relations with Shifeng, a member of the Founder's world. More than that? Perhaps Shifeng guessed that Lin Yuan was not very old, but that was all. But the Golden Dragon Star domain is indeed powerful, having independently opened up 3 battlefields of different races, fighting against 3 species with the strength of a single domain, Shifeng said in amazement. The Golden Dragon Star Master is indeed remarkable, Lin Yuan nodded. The might of the Golden Dragon Star Master was not inferior to that of Qikuan Star Lord, belonging to the level of invincible existence among 8th-layer evolvers. In the vast Anon Star Alliance with hundreds of star domains, there were more than 1,000 8th-layer evolvers, but only a few were on the same level as Qikuan Star Lord and Golden Dragon Star Master. With such a Star Master at its helm, the Golden Dragon Star domain already possessed the strength to independently open up battlefields of different races. To the Golden Dragon Star domain, these battlefields were a source of copious merit points as well as a training ground for their evolvers. Indeed, The Chikuan star domain had also independently opened up 4 battlefields of different races. However, the ones in the Chikuan star domain did not have permanent spatial rifts. Permanent spatial rifts can only be formed by the powers of a supreme being. The power of a supreme being referred to here does not require the supreme being to act personally. Supreme weapons can also achieve this, but the permanent spatial rifts they create are far smaller than those formed by a supreme being's direct intervention. Discover stories that even so, most battlefields of different races do not possess permanent spatial rifts. Alright. Don't worry too much about Jin Tianzhao. With Xianxia's talent, he'll have his comeuppance in the future, Shifeng said, seemingly probing. Through his interactions with Lin Yuan, he felt that Lin Yuan must be quite young. He definitely would not exceed 1,000 years old. At such a young age to have advanced to 6th level citizenship and to be a member of the Founder's World, clearly the evolution path he opened was no simple feat. You jest, Shifeng. What means do I have to make the Golden Dragon Star domain suffer? Lin Yuan said with a laugh. If Shifeng had known Lin Yuan's real age in the main world was not yet 30, he would probably not probe but first make sure he wasn't dreaming. So now do I choose the Wangyue Starfield? Lin Yuan asked. Since the Golden Dragon Star domain had no intention of compensating him, Lin Yuan's vote would naturally go to the Wangyue Starfield. After all, he was rather covetous of that 7th rank soul defense treasure. It could be useful for a while. No rush, no rush. As 6th level citizens, we only have 1 vote in each Star Alliance conference. Let's wait and see. As long as it doesn't concern our home star domain or any star domain with which we have a history, we'll support whoever offers the best price, Shifeng said. Any issue brought up at the Star Alliance conference would be such that, regardless of which side triumphed, there would be no significant impact on the overall situation of human civilization. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 319. It was because of this, that the 3 goddesses had entrusted decision-making power to higher-level citizens. It was also one of the hidden benefits belonging to higher-level citizens. Next, Shifeng brought over 7 or 8 evolvers. They were representatives from various star domains of the Anan Star Alliance. These evolvers were quite courteous to Lin Yuan, as powerful star domains like the Golden Dragon Star domain were rare. Furthermore, with proud individuals such as Jin Tianzhao, such people were even rarer. Generally speaking, everyone was quite polite to 6th level citizens. Even if their negotiations did not succeed, there would be no threats. Because there was no point in it. How about it? Have you made your choice? Shifeng looked at Lin Yuan with interest. He had already reached an agreement with a certain star domain. The offer from that star domain also satisfied Shifeng. Now he was mainly curious about Lin Yuan's choice. Let's go with Wangyue Starfield. Lin Yuan thought for a moment and then spoke. The representatives from the other 7 or 8 star domains had conditions that matched those of Wangyue Starfield. Logically speaking, Lin Yuan's choice of any one of them would have been similar. However, Lin Yuan did possess the legacy of 8th layer evolutionist Oyin. And Wangyue Starfield was Oyin's home star domain. In such a situation with conditions being equal, Lin Yuan naturally leaned towards Wangyue Starfield. Good. Shifeng nodded. He immediately contacted the young man Na Dan from Wangyue Starfield. A moment later, the young man Na Dan appeared in the personal space. Thank you, Mr. Xianxia, for your assistance. I represent Wangyue Starfield and we are immensely grateful. The young man Na Dan spoke with a slightly respectful tone. His offer was no different from several others, and Lin Yuan choosing him naturally warranted thanks. We each take what we need. Lin Yuan waved his hand and said casually. He was not helping Wangyue Starfield for nothing. This is the password for Shuntong Group's safe box. Mr. Xianxia only needs to log onto the Shuntong Group website, enter this safe box service, and then he can access the reward. The young man Na Dan sent Lin Yuan a string of numbers. Shuntong Group, being the largest transport group in the Human Civilization Alliance, took privacy very seriously in their safe box service. The young man Na Dan placed the treasure in a safe box of the Shuntong Group and then handed over the password to Lin Yuan. With the password, Lin Yuan could claim ownership of the rewards in the safe box, and then just have Shuntong Group deliver it. The entire process was such that neither party knew the other's location, the delivery location, and so on. In this respect, with human civilization's assurance, it was absolutely trustworthy, Even Chiquan Star Lords like 8th layer invincible beings used the transport services of Shuntong Group. Good. Lin Yuan wrote down the password and nodded. Free Webble. Shirsan, about that soul defense treasure, if you ever decide not to keep it, you must tell me. I will buy it for the highest price, Shifeng immediately said. He was also very eager to have that soul defense treasure, but alas, compared to another treasure, Shifeng still chose the latter. Certainly. Lin Yuan nodded. The 7th rank soul defense treasure was only for transition. Once Lin Yuan stepped into the 8th rank or repaired that 8th rank soul defense treasure, he naturally wouldn't need this 7th rank soul defense treasure. Every time the Star Alliance Assembly convenes, we 6th level citizens have only voting rights. As for actual decision-making, it's still those counselors, Shifeng said with a sigh. The prerequisite for being a counselor in the Anon Star Alliance is being a 7th level citizen. Although the difference is only 1 level between a 6th and 7th level citizen, in terms of status and privileges, it's a qualitative change. Not a single 6th level citizen does not yearn to become a 7th level citizen, but mere yearning is useless. It also requires a tremendous amount of merit points to meet the requirements for promotion to a 7th level citizen. 7th level citizen. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly serious. For a 6th level citizen to be promoted to a 7th level citizen, 2 million merit points are needed, akin to killing 2 8th rank aliens on the battlefields of different species. The most crucial thing is, killing these 2 8th rank aliens must be done by the original body. Avatar kills wouldn't possibly yield 1 million merit points. That is, only by completely killing 2 8th rank aliens can one gain 2 million merit points. This is too difficult. Chiquan Star Lord had dominated the battlefields of different races, swallowing countless 8th rank aliens in the guise of the Starry Sky Wanderer Kuan. However, most of those 8th rank aliens were merely avatars. As for their true forms, they had long been hiding somewhere unknown. Find exclusive stories on Chiquan Main Star. Lin Yuan stepped out of the Grand Hall. Shortly after, a spaceship landed. From inside, a fiercely gazing staff member exited. Here are the items for your shipment. Please sign for them. This staff member, possessing at least the power of the 7th rank, was a high-star employee of Shuntong Group, specifically responsible for the transport of valuable items. Good. Lin Yuan nodded. The payment from Na Dan, a young man from the Wangyue Starfield, was transported through Shuntong Group. With the service standard of the safe deposit box business, it was quickly delivered. Drip. Lin Yuan confirmed his identity and smoothly accepted it. Serving you is an honor for us at Shuntong. The fiercely gazing staff member gave a slight bow to Lin Yuan and then returned to the spaceship. In the depths of the Grand Hall, Lin Yuan began to examine the treasures. The first was that 7th rank soul defense treasure. It was a palm-sized jade pendant, exhibiting a faint pink color. After Lin Yuan refined it, the jade pendant transformed into flowing light, entered his sea of consciousness and guarded his soul. Not bad. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. Although he was deep in Chiquan Main Star, where he presumably wouldn't encounter any dangers, having such a treasure was better than none, especially since this soul defense treasure was not purchased by Lin Yuan himself. It was an unexpected gain. Jianghu fragment. Lin Yuan took out the second treasure. It was a piece of tree fragment, its surface subtly charred black. Merely by looking at it, Lin Yuan felt, deep in the cosmic starry skies, a colossal divine tree supporting the heavens and the earth was slightly swaying. Is that Jianghu? Lin Yuan closed his eyes and felt slightly amazed in his heart. Jianghu was a Dominator-level powerhouse deep in the cosmos, belonging to plant life. Its mere size spanned beyond 10 light-years, indeed a colossal entity. Even the Chiquan Star Lord dared not approach the true form of Jianghu. As for this fragment of Jianghu, it came from a thunder tribulation that Jianghu underwent every 100,000 years, fragments that were shattered during the tribulation. Heavenly azure water. Lin Yuan turned to the third treasure. This water could purify impurities in the flesh and solidify the origin of the flesh, useful for any evolver. Let's try it. Lin Yuan absorbed a drop of heavenly azure water. Immediately he felt a special power begin to spread to his limbs. Truly marvelous. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face as he keenly felt its effects. Golden Dragon Star Domain. On a pure gold-colored planet. Jin Tianzhao, dressed in a golden robe, hesitated for a moment before deciding to see his teacher. Tianzhao, what is it? The Golden Dragon Star Master's eyes shone gold, his presence majestic, as if transcending the cosmic starry skies. Teacher. A few days ago, due to the matters of the Star Alliance conference, I threatened a 7th-level citizen who supported the Wangyue Starfield a few times. Jin Tianzhao spoke truthfully. If Lin Yuan were just an ordinary 7th-level citizen, he wouldn't care much. But that comment from Shi Feng about Lin Yuan's true age possibly being less than 1,000 years had unsettled Jin Tianzhao. A 7th-level citizen under 1,000 years old possessed not insignificant potential, and he must inform his teacher. The one known as Shi San, that 7th-level citizen. The Golden Dragon Star Master looked down at Jin Tianzhao. Almost without needing to think, he could deduce that Shi San was an alias. The true identity of that 7th-level citizen, apart from 3 goddesses, probably nobody knew. Don't worry. The Golden Dragon Star Master spoke calmly. Even if he can become an 8th-layer citizen, that will be a matter for the distant future. For now, focus on the current matters. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 320, Battlefield C-24763 Alien Battlefield. Not far from the permanent spatial rift, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, occasionally closing his eyes in deep thought, occasionally looking up at the more than 10-meter-long spatial rift. Space is everything. All things are nurtured, they need space. All things grow, they need space. All things wither, they also need space. Lin Yuan pondered this in his heart. Since the breakthrough in comprehending 965 basic spatial models, Lin Yuan had begun to sense the deeper essence of space rules. With his against heaven's understanding, and the spatial fluctuations emanating from the nearby eternal spatial rift, Lin Yuan's perception of space rules was growing every day. 7,782 core spatial models. Lin Yuan frowned after having comprehended the basic spatial models. What he was contemplating next were the core spatial models. If the 965 basic spatial models are just the surface layer of space rules, belonging to the introductory level, then the 7,782 spatial models are the core of space rules. And each of these 7,782 spatial models has many aspects, like blind men touching an elephant. Different evolvers will have different insights. This was also why Qikuan Star Lord was unwilling to demonstrate the core spatial models to Lin Yuan. What Qikuan Star Lord demonstrated were only his understanding of the spatial models, and if Lin Yuan followed that, it would only hold him back. Of course, Qikuan Star Lord's considerations were based on Lin Yuan's terrifying talent and aptitude. Explore more at if it were one of the other 12 disciples, Qikuan Star Lord wouldn't mind demonstrating the core spatial models. From comprehending the basic spatial models until now, it's already been 1 or 2 months, and in all this time, I haven't even understood one core spatial model. Lin Yuan sighed inwardly. If other evolvers knew that Lin Yuan planned to understand a core spatial model in 1 or 2 months, they would probably be so frustrated they'd cough up blood. Each of the 7,782 core spatial models is profound and broad, sufficient for an ordinary 7th-rank evolver to contemplate for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. You plan to understand one in 1 or 2 months. Even an 8th-layer evolver like Qikuan Star Lord, with an unimaginable talent in the field of space rules, would need to invest a considerable amount of effort to understand one core spatial model. Particularly as one approaches the later models, the core spatial models become more obscure and difficult to comprehend, and a single bottleneck could easily stall progress for hundreds or thousands of years. Take it slow. And not in a hurry. Lin Yuan gathered his thoughts. What he had in abundance was time. With the door to the myriad realms' ability to travel through, his actual lifespan is far longer than that of other evolvers of the same rank. Although traversing worlds and comprehending the space rules was not as fast as observing the eternal spatial rift directly at this moment, with his against heaven's understanding, it was merely a matter of spending more time. I feel that, as I contemplate the core spatial models, is my inner world slowly expanding? Lin Yuan mused privately. The inner world was based entirely on Lin Yuan. The higher Lin Yuan's realm, the deeper his understanding of space, naturally allowing its scope to expand and extend continuously. If I could comprehend all 7,782 core spatial models, wouldn't the size of my inner world be incalculable? Lin Yuan looked forward with anticipation. The larger the inner world, the more world force it can mobilize. If Lin Yuan's inner world reached tens of thousands of miles in size, he would be able to overwhelm ordinary 8th-rank evolvers just with the force of his world. Forget it. Comprehending the 7,782 core spatial models is too far off for me. Let's first thoroughly understand the first one. Lin Yuan steadied his mind and continued his contemplation. The Taiyin primordial spirit contemplating space rules could synchronize with the true self there, with shared consciousness and mutual enlightenment between the two primordial spirits and the true self. However, after contemplating for a while, Lin Yuan glanced around. Why are there fewer and fewer different species around? Lin Yuan felt somewhat puzzled. Near the permanent spatial rift, not only were human race evolvers stationed for contemplation, but strong members of the Heiyuan clan would also come. Both clans were eager to contemplate in front of the permanent spatial rift, as it truly could enhance the efficiency and speed of their insight. It was for this reason that the area near the permanent spatial rift had become a ceasefire zone for both clans. It was an unspoken rule not to engage in combat. Otherwise, if you strike once and I retaliate twice, would anyone still be able to contemplate? Could something major have happened? Lin Yuan had an uneasy premonition, but at this moment, what he had here was just one primordial spirit. Even if it perished, the loss for him would not be unacceptable. The main world is not like the traversing worlds. Losing one primordial spirit would require Lin Yuan to expend a lot of time or origin source to condense it anew. In the main world, many cosmic wonders and treasures can replace one's origin source, allowing him to condense two primordial spirits in a few breaths. On the other side of the battlefield, this place was teeming with strong members of the Heiyuan clan. What's the situation now? The leader was a man with a single horn on his forehead. His body was coursing with pitch-black thunder, and even a trace of his emitted aura was enough to make an ordinary sixth-rank shiver. No change. Human civilization doesn't know the plans of our Heiyuan clan. Even if they guess some of it, they'll only think that we want to intensify the war effort. Little do they know that this time our Heiyuan clan will invest the strength of an entire clan. A stout Heiyuan clan strongman next to him said in a low voice. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 321. My lord, if we are not careful in this decisive battle with human civilization, our clan will fall into an abyss. Another Heiyuan clan strong one spoke hesitantly, unable to refrain from speaking out. As one of the strongest peak clans in the cosmic starry sky, were it not for being restrained by a large alliance of several other peak clans, the Heiyuan clan would have been flattened countless times already. Even so, it was not that human civilization couldn't annihilate the Heiyuan clan, they simply didn't want to pay the price. So, now that the Heiyuan clan had recklessly initiated a decisive battle, even if they wiped out the human civilization's evolvers in this battlefield, what then? Could it be that the entirety of human civilization would be unable to recover from this? No. This would only provoke the madness of human civilization's retaliation. This is an order from the insect race. The unicorn man went silent for a moment, then slowly began to speak. The insect race? The short and sturdy Heiyuan clan strong one was taken aback, his face turning very ugly. This was much more serious than the Heiyuan clan initiating a decisive battle on their own. Was the insect race ordering them to engage in a great decisive battle with human civilization at the level of peak clan civilizations? What about the other several peak clans? Would they also be involved in it? If it were a great decisive battle between several peak clans, there would inevitably be the presence of supreme beings taking action, and that would be a war that would shake the entire cosmic starry skies. Even a powerful clan like the Heiyuan clan might not be able to preserve itself under such intense war. At this point, our clan has no other choice. The unicorn man spoke with a detached tone. In the cosmic starry skies of 10,000 races, they are but puppets held by strings by those few peak clans. If his Heiyuan clan dared to defy the order of the insect race, they wouldn't need human civilization to make a move. The insect race would completely deal with them. Shueo, you've stepped into the 8th layer for many years, and this time you will hold your position outside the southeastern area of the battlefield. Any human evolvers who escape shall be killed without mercy, the unicorn man commanded. Yes. The short and sturdy Heiyuan clan strong one nodded. He really didn't want to engage in an excessively intense war with human civilization, because there was no benefit in doing so. As for those spoils of war and the like, compared to the retaliation of human civilization, what are they? But this was an order from the insect race. Furthermore, the unicorn man continued to make arrangements, making Heiyuan clan strong ones lie in ambush in the surroundings outside the battlefield, to prevent the human civilization evolvers from escaping. Finally, I will lead a large group of Heiyuan clan strong ones on the battlefield to cleanse the human civilization's evolvers. The unicorn man looked towards the many Heiyuan clan strong ones. You all go to your designated positions. Yes. 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 Soon, a small part of Heiyuan clan strong ones rapidly disappeared. Suspended mountain range. This place served as one of human civilization's bases on the battlefield. At this moment, a 7th-rank monarch evolver stood at the top of the mountain range, gazing afar towards the central battlefield. Alien numbers are changing, a large number of different species strong ones are returning. This 7th-rank monarch, the highest commander of human civilization in this battlefield of different races, frowned at this moment. What exactly does this group from the Heiyuan clan want to do? The 7th-rank monarch named Zhou Shi was somewhat undecided. Don't engage with the Heiyuan clan as much as possible in the near future. The 7th-rank monarch, Zhou Shi, thought to himself, planning to respond to every change with constancy. Suddenly, the 7th-rank monarch, Zhou Shi, seemed to sense something and quickly connected his consciousness to the virtual world. In most areas of the battlefield of different races, human evolvers were unable to connect to the 3 goddesses and the virtual world. However, in the bases of human civilization, there were no such restrictions, and connections could be made at any time. A moment later, Frobnov. Calm Zhou Shi disconnected from the virtual world, his expression extremely somber. These Heiyuan clan members dare to do this. Is the insect race intending to launch a decisive battle against our human race? Zhou Shi's thoughts surged, as the goddess of freedom had informed him that the Heiyuan clan might soon commit their entire clan's strength to cleanse the human civilization evolvers on the battlefield. As for the source of the message, it was the top fortune-telling master of human civilization who, through information derived from millions of battlefields of different races, drew this conclusion. The peak insect race would, for some unspeakable reason, order all clans under their command to launch a cleansing against human civilization's evolvers in the battlefields of different races at all costs. Commit their entire clan's strength. The 7th-rank monarch Zhou Shi took a deep breath. Although the Heiyuan clan were but a powerful clan, they also had many strong ones in the 8th layer and even had quite a few beings exceeding the 8th layer. If the Heiyuan clan committed their entire clan's strength, the human civilization evolvers on this battlefield would have no capacity to resist. We can only flee. The 7th-rank monarch Zhou Shi thought to himself quietly. This was also the advice given by the goddess of freedom. Before the Heiyuan clan could react, all human civilization evolvers should flee in different directions. Doing so would increase the survival rate greatly due to the wide area spread. According to the deductions of the goddess of freedom, 8 or 9 out of 10 human civilization evolvers would survive. Not far from the eternal spatial rift, Lin Yuan had just started to comprehend for a short while when he heard the armored man's message transmission. Brother, come back quickly, there's something important to discuss. The armored man advised Lin Yuan to walk out as calmly as possible and try not to attract the attention of other alien races. Something important? Lin Yuan's expression remained unchanged as he stood up and left. Whoosh. Through the teleportation area, Lin Yuan returned to the suspended mountain range. Lin Yuan looked around and noticed that a large number of evolvers had already arrived. It must be something major, Lin Yuan realized in his heart. Everyone. The battlefield commander, Zhou Shi, suddenly appeared and looked towards the many evolvers, speaking, the Heiyuan clan. Zhou Shi briefly recounted the Heiyuan clan's schemes, leaving the vast majority of evolvers on the field filled with anger and shock. What was this? To mobilize more than 10 8th-layer evolvers for a purge in a minor battlefield? But don't worry, everyone. Continued Zhou Shi, the battlefield commander, the schemes of the Heiyuan clan or the insect race have been foreseen in advance by the great diviners of our human civilization. With us having the upper hand against the unprepared, as long as we escape quickly, we should have an 80 to 90% chance of survival, Zhou Shi said. For secret cleansing acts like those of the Heiyuan clan, maintaining secrecy is the most crucial aspect. By taking advantage of the fact that human civilization had not yet reacted, they could mobilize a large number of strong ones and blockade the surroundings of the battlefield. At that time, all human evolvers would be like fish on a chopping board, completely at the mercy of others. But now, it had been found out by human civilization in advance. What's more important, the Heiyuan clan was unaware that human civilization had already caught on. Caught off guard, the strong ones of the Heiyuan clan would not be able to seal off such a vast area around the battlefield. So, according to the calculations of the Goddess of Freedom, 80 to 90% of human civilization's evolvers would survive. In a moment, I will activate this mountain range and smash it towards the direction of the Heiyuan clan while you all take that opportunity to escape in any direction you choose. Remember, you must run with all your might, stated Zhou Shi, the 7th-rank monarch, seriously. His true body was elsewhere, so he was not afraid of falling and was willing to stay behind to buy time for the other evolvers. What kind of madness has the Heiyuan clan succumbed to? Lin Yuan listened for a while at the bottom and quickly thought to himself. Was the Heiyuan clan not afraid of human civilization seeking retribution afterward? Lin Yuan glanced around and noticed that most evolvers were engaged in discussions, seemingly believing that the Heiyuan clan had gone mad. I should escape too, Lin Yuan sighed. Even though the fall of the Taiyin primordial spirit wasn't an unbearable loss, it was still better to avoid falling if possible. Yuanin brother, at that moment the armored man approached. Do you want to stick together later? If you follow me you'll definitely be safe, the armored man patted his chest enthusiastically suggesting. No need, Lin Yuan shook his head. Being a primordial spirit body he was not limited by a physical body. When he exerted his full power, his speed might even reach the level of an 8th-layer evolver. Don't be shy, the armored man, thinking Lin Yuan was just being modest, spoke carelessly. Suddenly the suspended mountain range beneath them trembled violently. Everyone flee immediately, commanded the battlefield leader, Zhou Shi, his voice echoing in everyone's ears. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Experienced tails at all barriers of the suspended mountain range disappeared. Any evolver could freely enter and leave this place. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Without a second thought, numerous evolvers began to flee in every direction. The armored man turned to look for Lin Yuan, only to see Lin Yuan's figure turn into a meteor, instantly crossing 100 miles and vanishing from the armored man's sensory range. So fast. The armored man watched in astonishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 322. On the other side of the battlefield, a monocled man from the Heiyuan clan watched intently. He had already commanded many Heiyuan clan powerhouses to blockade every sector of the battlefields of different races. Once the blockade was complete, the entire battlefield would become a prison. By then he would personally take action and cleanse all of human civilization's evolvers. Suddenly, in the distance, the suspended mountain range that served as the base for human civilization's evolvers quickly rose into the air. It charged toward the side of the Heiyuan clan. The monocled man's expression changed slightly. The suspended mountain range was the base of human civilization on this battlefield. It was also a weapon that could transform into a war fortress when necessary. But clearly now was not the time for that. What is that? The monocled man immediately noticed that with the collision of the suspended mountain range, explore more at countless evolvers of human civilization started fleeing frantically in all directions using various means. Damn. The pitch-black thunder that flowed over the monocled man's body suddenly began to boil. Clearly the plans of his Heiyuan clan or perhaps the insect race had been leaked. Otherwise, these human evolvers would not have started fleeing outright. Die. The monocled man took a step forward. All around him, within 1,000,000 miles, pitch-black thunder filled the space. The monocled man raised his right hand and pressed it toward the oncoming suspended mountain range. Merely ants. The monocled man's gaze was cold, and in an instant the suspended mountain range, which had become a war fortress, began to crumble rapidly. Ha 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 ha. Children of the Heiyuan clan, I hope you can struggle to survive beneath the wrath of my human civilization. Inside the suspended mountain range, 7th-rank monarch, Zhou Shi burst into mad laughter, then crumbled along with the suspended mountain range. The suspended mountain range was too large, and as a war fortress, its target was too apparent. It could only be left behind to attempt to cover the retreat, delaying the Heiyuan clan. But obviously, the monocled man's strength was too terrifying. Almost reaching the peak of the 8th layer, he crushed the suspended mountain range directly. They've all escaped? The monocled man looked toward the countless human evolvers fleeing in all directions. Being of high realm, the monocled man had long grasped the instantaneous movement spatial model in the core space model. But in the battlefields of different races, spatial fluctuations were significant. Whether it was wormhole shuttling or spatial teleportation, they both were likely to result in large errors or even getting lost in the depths of space. Therefore, the monocled man could only rely on flight to give chase, but the directions in which the numerous human evolvers fled were all different, every which way, up and down, left and right. Even if the monocled man truly pursued them, if he caught one and then returned, the other evolvers would have already run far away. Once the evolvers left the range of the battlefield, they could manipulate spaceships for wormhole shuttling. At that time, the Heiyuan clan would no longer have the ability to pursue and kill. This was precisely why the Goddess of Freedom made the decision to have the human evolvers escape. Because this could allow 8 or 9 out of 10 human evolvers to survive. As for the loss of many resources on the battlefield, it didn't count for much. Chiquan main star. Deep within the 13 Peaks Great Hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. The Heiyuan clan. Lin Yuan looked distantly toward the direction of the battlefields of different races. Everything experienced by the Taiyin primordial spirit, he naturally felt in sync. The higher-ups of human civilization should be aware of this by now, Lin Yuan thought to himself. In the battlefields of different races' suspended mountain range, one could freely log into the virtual world and connect with the Goddess of Freedom. In such a circumstance, the moves of the Heiyuan clan must have been transmitted. The Heiyuan clan, the insect race? Lin Yuan didn't know the specifics. He only speculated that the actions of the Heiyuan clan must be related to the insect race, or perhaps they were directly instigated by them. If it really has to do with the insect race, then it's not just one battlefield where this has happened, Lin Yuan conjectured in his heart. Peak clans like the insect race wouldn't engage in meaningless actions. To merely seize one small-sized otherworldly battlefield? This would hardly have any effect on the overall battle situation. Battlefields of different races. Run, run, run. Run. Millions upon millions of human evolvers, among whom were not a few of the 7th rank, and even the 6th rank constituted a considerable number, were fleeing desperately. Faced with the command of the battlefield's leader, these evolvers had no doubts whatsoever. Especially after seeing the leader Zhou Shi driving the suspended mountain range as a war fortress, charging toward the Heiyuan clan only to directly crumble afterward, they became even more desperate in their escape. Among the fleeing evolvers, many were 6th rank and even 7th rank evolvers, some of whom had true bodies. But even if the true bodies were safe for the time being outside, if the avatars were to die, it would still require a significant amount of time and energy to be recondensed, and the many treasures and weapons they carried would be lost. So unless it was a moment of complete despair, no one would willingly give up. Without a complete blockade, at most only 1 or 2 out of 10 human evolvers can be stopped. The monocled man looked at the human evolvers fleeing in all directions and quickly came to a conclusion. The response speed of human civilization was just too fast. If only they waited a little longer until the blockade of the Heiyuan clan was fully formed, all evolvers of human civilization would have no escape. But for now, according to the blockade range of the Heiyuan clan powerhouses, they could probably hold back 1 or 2 out of 10 evolvers. Try to kill those 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers? The monocled man quickly made a decision in his mind. With only being able to hold back 1 or 2 out of 10 human evolvers as the big premise, naturally, it was most cost-effective to leave behind those of the 6th and 7th rank. As for the 4th and 5th rank, let them flee. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 323, Shueo. In the southeastern area you are in 10 minutes from now, at a 30-degree position to the lower left, there will be a 7th rank human evolver passing by. Kill him. The unicorn man's gaze was vast, his perception spreading as he began to lock onto those human evolvers with strong auras. The insect race's command to them was to kill as many human evolvers as possible. The more human evolvers of higher ranks they killed, the more rewards they would be bestowed. At the edge of the battlefields of different races, Lin Yuan transformed into a streak of flowing light, swiftly fleeing towards the outside of the battlefield. Didn't delay even for a moment? Lin Yuan glanced behind him, certainly expecting the suspended mountain range to collapse. Inside, the 7th rank monarch Zhou Shi likewise did not stir up the slightest ripple. If I tried to cover our retreat, it would probably be of no use, right? Lin Yuan thought to himself. The entire Heiyuan clan had deployed its full strength, which simply wasn't something a 7th rank evolver could stop. Even an average 8th layer might not last long. This is the battlefield of different species. Full of crises, all sorts of situations can arise at any moment. Lin Yuan felt somewhat emotional. This time entering the battlefield of different races, he had been extremely cautious and low profile, not engaging in battle with any different species. Yet even so, had still ended up in this escape situation. This was just a small-sized otherworldly battlefield. If it were a medium, let alone a large alien battlefield, the uncertainties would be even greater. Enjoy new stories from powerful beings like the Chiquan Star Lord had to be careful and cautious on a large alien battlefield. With my speed, if I were to go all out, I could completely approach a 8th rank evolver or even surpass an average 8th rank evolver. At the moment, Lin Yuan was showing a speed that only reached the 6th rank peak, not even as fast as a 7th rank evolver. The reason for this was fear, that showing too great a speed would attract the attention of the Heiyuan clan's strong ones. Like that unicorn man, if he saw Lin Yuan's speed reaching the 8th layer, would he come after him personally? So Lin Yuan's displayed speed was moderately above average among the countless fleeing evolvers. If the leader Zhou Shi was right that the scattered fleeing human evolvers had an 80 to 90% chance of survival, then Lin Yuan was very likely to escape. Too much speed makes one stick out and more likely to be targeted. In the southeastern region of the battlefield, the stocky man Zuya's eyes were fierce, leading many of the Heiyuan clan strong ones to guard the area. There's a group of 4th and 5th rank evolvers escaping this way, don't bother with them. The stocky man Zuya's target was clear. Killing one 6th rank evolver could secure more bounty from the insect race than hundreds of 4th and 5th rank evolvers. If they went after that group of 4th and 5th rank evolvers and missed a 6th or 7th rank evolver, that would be a real loss. And with the foundation of human civilization, the death of a few 4th and 5th rank evolvers is practically negligible. Considering the current human population, more 4th and 5th rank evolvers naturally die of old age each day than on the battlefield. Oh? There's a 7th rank evolver escaping this way. The stocky man Zuya's eyes lit up as he looked into the distance. Their area was subtly twisted in space, isolated from the outside, so that human evolver had no idea there were Heiyuan clan strong ones ambushed nearby. "They'll go. You guys stay here." The stocky man Shueyo said. As an 8th layer strong one, he was a sure bet to deal with a 7th rank evolver. Sending their own 7th rank could result in being held up or counter-killed. 8th layer against 7th rank, the pressure of the great realm difference meant no surprises. Whoosh! The stocky man Shueyo disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already directly in front of the fleeing 7th rank evolver. "Human," the stocky man Shueyo looked pitying, "I don't want to kill you either, but this is the insect race's command." Before the fleeing 7th rank evolver even understood what was happening, he was dead at the stocky man's hands. It was too easy for 8th layer to handle a 7th rank. As more 6th and 7th rank evolvers were intercepted and killed, many 4th and 5th rank evolvers managed to escape. Because of the position of the suspended mountain range, which is not the very center of the battlefield, it led some evolvers to choose escape directions closer to the battlefield. Therefore their escape from the battlefield was naturally quicker. About to leave the battlefield, Lin Yuan, formed into a meteor, surveilled his surroundings, thinking rapidly. If he went all out, he could have left the battlefield by now, but similarly, that might have caught the attention of a more powerful different species, leading to interception. Just a little bit longer. Lin Yuan maintained a speed close to the 6th rank peak. As soon as he escapes the battlefield of different species and reaches the stable cosmic starry sky, he would immediately bring out a cosmic spaceship, perform a wormhole shuttle. Then this tiny primordial spirit would be saved. The southeastern area of the battlefield. The stocky man, Shueyo, continued to observe his surroundings. That human evolver, his speed is close to that of a 6th rank peak, we can't let him escape alive. The stocky man, Shueyo, noticed Lin Yuan and spoke. "Jianghu, you go kill him." The stocky man, Shueyo, instructed. His 8th layer strength was meant to deal with human 7th rank evolvers. As for 6th rank evolvers, there was no need for that. They could be left to other 7th rank members of the Heiyuan clan. 8th layer dealing with 7th rank, no surprises there. 7th rank dealing with 6th rank, just as unsurprising. Under the suppression of a great realm, even the top geniuses of the human civilization could hardly contend. "Yes, Freewub novel. Come, Lord Shueyo, I will take care of this human." The 7th rank strongman of the Heiyuan clan, Jianghu, licked his lips. Killing these human evolvers could garner rewards from the insect race, and even more so, one could obtain the numerous treasures and weapons from the opponent. In the usual battlefields of different races, they, as 7th rank members, would be entangled by the 7th-rank evolvers of human civilization. Where was the chance to bully the weak? 7th-rank strongman Jianghu vanished, reappearing directly in front of the direction where Lin Yuan was fleeing. He just die quietly at my hands. The 7th-rank strongman Jianghu patiently waited there, waiting for Lin Yuan to enter a certain range before he took action to crush him to death. Lin Yuan's mind stirred, sensing a change in the atmosphere ahead. What to do? Lin Yuan's brows furrowed. With the sensing range of a 6th-rank evolver, he couldn't detect that 7th-rank alien. Just pretend I don't know. Lin Yuan decided to maintain his escape direction. After all, once he changed direction he would be discovered by that 7th-rank alien, who could also change direction to block him. Boom boom boom. His terrifying speed tore through the air. Soon he would enter the attack range of that 7th-rank alien. Ha ha ha, human, go die. The 7th-rank alien strongman, Jianghu, revealed himself, lifting his right hand and slamming it down towards Lin Yuan. He should be dead now. In the distance, the stocky man Xianxia glanced in this direction, having already pronounced Lin Yuan's death sentence. Although Xianxia's strength was no match for a 7th-rank monarch evolver of the humans, wasn't it a cinch for him to deal with a 6th-rank peak evolver? Not good, brother Yuan is in danger. In another direction, the armored man noticed this and his heart suddenly tightened. He had originally planned to escape with Lin Yuan, but he didn't expect Lin Yuan to be so fast, so seeing Lin Yuan set off, he followed suit and fled. However, the armored man was only trailing behind Lin Yuan. Due to his slower speed, the distance between them grew further and further apart. Now, they were nearly 1,000,000 kilometers apart. It's a 7th-rank alien. A chill ran down the armored man's spine. With a 7th-rank alien ambushing ahead, he couldn't see any way for Lin Yuan to possibly survive. Boom boom boom. Facing the suddenly appearing 7th-rank alien, Lin Yuan's speed did not slow down in the slightest. He continued to rush forward. Ha, scared stiff, huh? The Heiyuan clan's Xianxia's face revealed a sneer, thinking Lin Yuan was too afraid to react. Die. The 7th-rank alien, Jianghu, did not hold back and struck Lin Yuan with all his might. But the next moment, the air around them suddenly carried wisps of Taiyin power. The blow delivered by the 7th-rank alien, Jianghu, evaporated swiftly under the erosion of the power of Taiyin. Ah! The 7th-rank alien, Jianghu, blinked, somewhat puzzled. Boom. At this moment, Lin Yuan, fleeing at the speed of a 6th-rank peak, suddenly surged in speed by 10-fold, 100-fold. In the blink of an eye, he overpowered the 7th-rank alien, Jianghu. No! The 7th-rank alien, Jianghu's face showed terror as his shape shattered instantly. Lin Yuan flew past and casually collected his storage treasure. What? In the distance, the stocky man, Xianxia, looked this way with some disbelief. That speed. Xuya's face changed. In another section of the battlefield, the one-horned man also noticed the scene unfolding here and turned his gaze over. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 324, 7th-rank peak. No, this speed has already reached the 8th layer threshold. The unicorn man judged in his heart. It must be some 7th-rank peak evolver who specializes in speed. The unicorn man gazed in the direction Lin Yuan had fled. Impressive, he actually deceived me. If Lin Yuan had shown this kind of power or speed from the beginning, the unicorn man would have immediately ordered the Heiyuan clan's strong ones to block him ahead of time. But Lin Yuan did not. Instead, he disguised himself as an ordinary 6th-rank evolver. This might sound simple, but it's difficult to execute. The most crucial point was to deceive the unicorn man's perception. When Suspended Mountain ascended and countless evolvers fled, the unicorn man quickly identified many 7th-rank evolvers' locations. However, Lin Yuan's god was a primordial spirit body. Lacking a physical form, his aura and the power of Taiyin nearly merged together. Even someone as powerful as the unicorn man could commonly overlook him with a cursory sensing. It's too late. The unicorn man saw Lin Yuan had already left the range of the battlefields of different races, and knew that even if he personally gave chase he might not succeed. After leaving the range of the battlefields of different races, human race evolvers can control cosmic spaceships and perform wormhole shuttle. Damn it. You actually killed Feiyu. The stocky man, Xianxia, furiously stared in the direction of Lin Yuan's escape, intending to pursue. No need to chase. At that moment, the voice of the unicorn man rang in Zuya's ears. Continue to surround and kill the other human 7th rank evolvers. The unicorn man instructed. Letting Lin Yuan, a 7th rank peak evolver, escape was indeed regrettable. But there are still many human 7th rank evolvers who haven't escaped yet. They are the next primary targets of the Heiyuan clan. Yes. Shueo took a deep breath and returned to his position. Did I actually escape too? The armored man followed in the direction Lin Yuan had fled and unexpectedly escaped the battlefields of different races without obstructions. It's the Yuanin brothers. The armored man immediately realized why his escape was so smooth. Considering the circumstances just now, as a 6th rank evolver like him, he should have received significant attention from the Heiyuan different species. At least one 7th rank evolver should have been dispatched to stop him. But Lin Yuan, with a shockingly powerful technique, had severely killed a 7th rank member of the Heiyuan clan, resulting in a gap in that area's blockade. That surprisingly allowed him such an easy escape. The strength of the Yuanin brothers must be really strong, perhaps nearing a commander level. The armored man, grateful for his fortune, then thought back to the scene of Lin Yuan killing that 7th rank different species. So swift and decisive, the opponent didn't even have time to react. It was unbelievable. That 7th rank different species probably possessed marquee level strength, with such strength, aside from a 7th rank king who could kill so effortlessly. Just a moment ago, I thought of having the Yuanin brother follow me for protection? The armored man felt somewhat embarrassed with Lin Yuan's previously displayed strength. It's likely that instead of him protecting Lin Yuan, he would have been dragging Lin Yuan down. When Lin Yuan first arrived at the battlefields of different races, it was he who came forward to welcome him. The armored man had then invited Lin Yuan to go to the central battlefield to kill different species together, but he was refused. He had thought Lin Yuan was weak or not good at fighting. Now it seems he was completely wrong. Quickly proceed with wormhole shuttle. The armored man immediately took out a cosmic spaceship from his storage ring, then activated wormhole shuttle, and like flowing water, soon disappeared out of sight. 60 light-years from the battlefields of different races. The force of space subtly started to fluctuate. A dark spaceship appeared. Lin Yuan was piloting the spaceship, continuously heading towards the territory of the human civilization. Wormhole shuttle has a cooldown period under normal circumstances and cannot be continually used. With my current combat power, under a sneak attack, I have the possibility of killing a 7th rank marquis. Lin Yuan began to reassess everything that had just happened. That 7th rank different species was probably equivalent to a human 7th rank marquis. Normally, facing Lin Yuan's Taiyin primordial spirit, even if defeated, should have been able to struggle for a while. But the opponent underestimated Lin Yuan too much, leading to an instant kill. One must know this was only Lin Yuan's Taiyin primordial spirit. After stepping into the 7th rank, due to the creation of an inner world, the strength of Lin Yuan's main body had increased the most. As for the 2 primordial spirits, they were much weaker. Even so, they could still sweep through ordinary 7th rank marquee levels. If it were the main Bodhi's turn, even a 7th rank king would have to be suppressed. After all, among the 7th rank evolvers, the power of the world essentially amounts to cheating. Continue the shuttle. Soon, the wormhole shuttle's cooldown period ended. Lin Yuan did not hesitate to start another round of shuttle. Explore more stories at a day or two later. Lin Yuan officially entered the territory of human civilization. Only at this moment did Lin Yuan finally breathe a slight sigh of relief. The Black Abyss clan, no matter how crazy, wouldn't dare to pursue into the territory of human civilization. Even the insect race wouldn't dare enter the territory of human civilization unless absolutely necessary, because that would mean escalating the war. Whether it's human civilization or other peak clans of the cosmic starry sky, the reason for establishing the battlefields of different races is to try to keep the war confined to those battlefields. If there were no constraints, everyone invading each other's territories would lead to much greater losses. Hurry up and go back. Lin Yuan waited for the cooldown to end and then initiated another wormhole shuttle. Battlefields of different races. The fighting gradually calmed down. The unicorn man's gaze was icy, with the stocky man Shueo reporting next to him. Lord, during this blockade and killing operation we killed 36 human 7th rank evolvers, 572 6th rank evolvers, and 2,837 5th and 4th rank evolvers. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 325. Although the Heiyuan clan's focus is mainly on 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers, they generally don't actively pursue the killing of 4th rank and 5th rank evolvers. However, if 4th rank or 5th rank evolvers intrude into the attack range of a powerful member of the Heiyuan clan, it comes as no surprise if they are taken down. Among the 36 7th rank evolvers, 15 possess the doppelganger skill. Among the 572 6th rank evolvers, 127 possess the skill. Shueyo continued to speak. A small portion of 7th rank evolvers, and the majority of 8th layer evolvers, in addition to contemplating space rules, are also involved with the rules of causality. The rules of causality, while not as foundational as the space rules, are enigmatic and unpredictable. Those who have a deeper understanding of the rules of causality can develop many bizarre techniques such as the curse-killing skill. The curse-killing skill is just one of the many applications of the causality rules. The uses of this rule are plentiful. For example, when Shueyo kills an evolver, the moment the killing intent surges, a connection of cause and effect is established between the two. If Shueyo successfully kills the target, the causality will cease to exist with the death of the person, which means he would no longer feel any causal connection to that evolver, thus confirming the target's demise. If after the killing, a faint sense of causality is still perceived, it could mean that the target has not died and likely has techniques like the doppelganger skill at their disposal. Indeed. The unicorn man nodded slightly upon hearing this. Although the result is quite different from the expectation of completely purging all human evolvers, achieving such results is still quite remarkable. At least 21 7th rank human evolvers have died. The remaining 7th rank evolvers, even if their true bodies are alive, have suffered a severe cost with the death of a doppelganger. On Chikuan main star, Lin Yuan was sitting cross-legged. Not only did battlefield C24763 experience a purge by different species at the same time, but there were also 5,463 other alien battlefields undergoing the same purge? Lin Yuan furrowed his brows slightly as he received the news. All these battlefields of different races under the Insect Race Alliance. Is the Insect Race really intending to start a full-scale war with the human race? Lin Yuan was puzzled. Generally speaking, it was rare for peak clans to engage in serious conflict. Whether it be the human race, the insect race, or other major peak clans, they all had proven their might in the long wars of the past. It was implausible for one side to completely annihilate the other. Thus, the intensity of the wars was tacitly maintained within a certain range. There must be a reason for this. Lin Yuan connected his consciousness to the virtual world. Personal space. Shi Feng stepped out from the void, his red nose unmistakable. Shi-san, little brother. If you want to know why the insect race is going crazy, I happen to know some inside information. Shi Feng said with a grin. As a 6th-rank citizen and a founder of an evolution path, Shi Feng had a vast network of connections. What's the reason? Lin Yuan asked. Even if Shi Feng didn't know, Lin Yuan had planned to ask several senior fellow disciples, or even inquire directly from Chikuan Starlord, his teacher. It was only natural for Lin Yuan to be curious and ask a few more questions about such significant developments on the alien battlefields. It's because of the large alien battlefield. Shi Feng didn't keep him in suspense, speaking in a hushed tone. Large alien battlefield? Lin Yuan felt a slight shock in his heart. Explore new worlds. That there are over 2 million battlefields opened up between humans and different species, with just over 100 of them being large battlefields. Large alien battlefields are where the human civilization clashes with other peak clans. Even supreme beings occasionally turn their gaze toward the large alien battlefields and may sometimes intervene. The reason the insect race is targeting small and medium-sized battlefields is because of an event that is about to take place above battlefield S-111, Shi Feng explained mysteriously. The top oracle of the insect race has predicted that, soon, a foreign visitor will come to battlefield S-111, through the eternal spatial rift. To be precise, it's the corpse of a visitor from beyond. This corpse must be very important, so important that the insect race wants to have it all to themselves, ordering many clans within the alliance to put forth their full strength to cause trouble for our human civilization. This is in order to gain an advantageous position in the upcoming struggle for this corpse. Shi Feng told him. I see. Lin Yuan appeared thoughtful. Eternal spatial rifts on the large alien battlefields are enormous, spanning tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of miles, and occasionally foreign visitors cross through such vast spatial rifts to enter the main world. What was the outcome? Lin Yuan asked. Whose hands did the corpse of the extraterrestrial visitor that floated in from the spatial rift fall into? What else could have happened? The insect race was able to deduce this matter. How could our human civilization be completely unaware? Red-nosed Shifeng shook his head and said, besides, the supreme beings from the several other peak clans also approached, wanting a share of the spoils. In the end, the outsider's corpse was torn to pieces, and our human civilization should have gotten a part of it. After finishing his statement, Red-nosed Shifeng added with some surprise, I wonder what is so miraculous about that corpse that even the supreme beings vied for it? That's a question for the supreme beings. Lin Yuan shook his head. After chatting with Red-nosed Shifeng for a few more lines, Lin Yuan then disconnected the virtual world connection and his consciousness returned to reality. The teacher is looking for me? Is it about the matters on the alien battlefield? Lin Yuan suddenly received a message from the Qikuan Star Lord, asking him and his fellow disciples to come to him. The sudden foul play of the various species from the insect race alliance on the battlefield would definitely not be left as is. Next, it would be the human civilization's turn to retaliate. Outside the Crimson Hall, Zhugu, the fourth disciple, and the other peak masters stood chatting idly. They too had heard about the events that transpired on the alien battlefield, and their conversation mainly revolved around it. As the disciples chatted, they eventually talked about Lin Yuan. We consider ourselves evolutionary geniuses belonging to the first class of outstanding talents, but when compared with our little junior brother, the sixth disciple sighed. Even now he was still shocked by Lin Yuan's step to the 7th rank. The 7th rank. This was the 7th rank. It's not cabbage on the side of the road. Something you step into just because you wish to? Indeed, how exactly does our junior brother cultivate? Could it be that he always practices so diligently that he doesn't even dream? The other disciples exchanged glances, all filled with deep emotion. The entire outer world was abuzz when the 13th peak master stepped into the 7th rank, and inside the Red Kuan lineage the shock was not much less, all filled with astonishment. It should be known that the peak masters were taken as disciples by the Qikuan Star Lord because of their undeniable talents, worthy of the title of evolutionary prodigies. Even though the first, second, and third disciples had stepped into the 7th rank, Zhugu and the other peak masters had no doubt or questioning about themselves, believing that they would eventually break through to the same level one day. Until they met the little junior brother Lin Yuan. Junior brother is coming. Zhugu and the other peak masters seemed to sense something. Smiles appeared on their faces as they looked towards the figure walking over from a distance. It was Lin Yuan. 4th disciple, 5th disciple, 6th disciple. Lin Yuan greeted each one in turn. Junior brother, the teacher is waiting for us inside, let's hurry in. Zhugu, the 4th disciple, spoke up. All right. Lin Yuan nodded and walked into the Crimson Hall. Zhugu, the 4th disciple, and the other disciples also followed him in. For some reason, Zhugu and the others intentionally fell half a step behind Lin Yuan, not walking shoulder to shoulder. Lin Yuan seemed to notice something and stopped to look back at his fellow disciples. Disciples, there really is no need for this. Lin Yuan couldn't help saying he didn't feel that stepping into the 7th rank made him thoroughly superior. Some things and some people still needed to be analyzed specifically. When Lin Yuan had just joined the Red Kuan lineage and became the 13th peak master, the fellow disciples had taken great care of him. You're thinking too much, junior brother, we just feel a bit of pressure walking alongside you. Zhugu, the 4th disciple, spoke the truth. Well, okay then. Lin Yuan thought about it and didn't say much, continuing towards the depths of the palace. Zhugu, the 4th disciple, and the other peak master disciples exchanged glances. With the talents Lin Yuan was currently displaying, in several decades or a few hundred years, he likely has the potential to challenge the 8th layer. To become a great figure at the same level as the Star Lord. Such potential, such talent, such ability. With countless prodigies in the world, who dares walk shoulder to shoulder with you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 326 Crimson Palace. Lin Yuan and his 12 senior brothers stood below. Qikuan Star Lord, the teacher, sat in the high seat as Lin Yuan glanced at the other senior brothers. He noticed that the senior brothers all behaved very casually. Qikuan Star Lord wasn't the type of teacher who was very imposing, preferring a friendly approach with his disciples. Everyone has arrived. Qikuan Star Lord nodded slightly. Actually, there were many 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers in the Qikuan lineage, But at its core, naturally, the Star Lord and various peak masters were the main focus. Within the Cosmic Human Alliance, the relationship between a teacher and his disciples even surpassed that of the closest kinship. Once the master-disciple relationship was confirmed, it truly required commitment. In the past several tens of thousands of years, Chiquan Star Lord hadn't taken any disciples, not only because he hadn't met any satisfactory evolvers but also because accepting a disciple wasn't just a matter of saying so. If in the future a disciple caused some trouble outside, Chiquan Star Lord would have to step in and offer protection. Those evolvers who passed the test of 7-Star Cave and joined the Red Kuan lineage, strictly speaking, weren't Chiquan Star Lord's disciples, and they weren't even disciples of the 12 Peak Masters. They could only be considered members of the Red Kuan lineage. The Red Kuan lineage nurtured them and in turn they served the Red Kuan lineage. Both sides gave to each other. I'll keep it short. You've also heard about the commotion caused by the insect race on the battlefield. Although our human civilization's top prophets discovered it in advance and the loss wasn't substantial, we can't let this matter slide so easily. Chiquan Star Lord spoke in a calm tone. Taking as an example the battlefield C24763 where Lin Yuan's Taiyin primordial spirit was, the Heiyuan clan wanted to cleanse the battlefield. Even though many human evolvers fled in all directions, there were still numerous 6th and 7th rank evolvers who died. This type of loss, compared to the overall war situation, wasn't significant. At least the insect race's planning failed, and the gaze of human civilization's supreme beings hadn't been drawn away by those medium-sized and small-sized otherworldly battlefields. But how could human civilization tolerate such a loss without reason? In the over 2 million years of the Starry Sea era, human civilization, in the eyes of the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky, differed little from demons. If you dare to disregard the baseline of warfare and strike with full force, wait for the crazed retaliation of human civilization. Eldest brother, you lead the army of evolvers to battlefield C34123. Experienced tales at second brother, you lead the army of evolvers to battlefield C459543. Third brother? Chiquan Star Lord issued his orders following this pattern. It wasn't just the Chiquan Star domain. The entire Anon Star Alliance and many other star alliances, one star domain after another, began transferring troops and increasing their investment in the battlefields. Ever since human civilization left its homeworld, there has always been a constant launch of battlefields, but at different times the intensity and fierceness of the battlefields varied. For example, before the insect race's action, human civilization actually did not invest much power into the battlefields. The same was true for the other few peak civilizations. After all these years of fighting, they had formed some kind of tacit understanding. But now, since the insect race actively broke the tacit agreement, human civilization naturally wouldn't indulge them. On the battlefield, all actions should be centered around the goddess of freedom. Chiquan Star Lord said. Human external expansion and invasion were all coordinated by the goddess of freedom. With the goddess of freedom, every bit of human force could be fully utilized. This was the key to human civilization's successive victories on the battlefield. Teacher, what about me? Lin Yuan looked at how all 12 senior brothers had assignments and he had been overlooked, so he couldn't help but ask. Come here and take a look, just get familiar with it. Chiquan Star Lord shook his head and said, his main reason for inviting Lin Yuan over this time was to get him accustomed to the atmosphere of the battlefield. As for sending Lin Yuan to the battlefield, Chiquan Star Lord really couldn't bear to do it. Although it's said that even talented evolvers need to be tempered on the battlefield, that prerequisite is for when they hit a bottleneck and various attempts to break through have failed, and they have no choice but to make such a reluctant decision. Given the talent that Lin Yuan had shown, there was no sign he was trapped by any bottlenecks. Sending him to a battlefield fraught with danger at this time would be foolish. Junior brother, once you cultivate an avatar you can go to the battlefield, the eldest senior brother said with a smile. The 12 senior brothers, including Chiquan Star Lord, didn't know about Lin Yuan's Yin spirit and Yang spirit, which were equivalent to having 2 avatars. The Yin spirit and Yang spirit avatars, although not unique, could make one suspect that they were related to the martial path evolutionary path. Teacher, what exactly happened on the large battlefield? The mysterious corpse that drifted in from the eternal spatial rift, what's the situation with that? After tasks were assigned, third senior brother asked out of curiosity. The reason the insect race broke the tacit agreement was because of that mysterious corpse. This corpse also attracted other Peak Clan's supreme beings who didn't hesitate to personally intervene, eventually tearing that corpse into pieces. On battlefield S-111, the presence of the Supreme Beings was overwhelming, and this matter couldn't be concealed at all. As a result, many people were very curious about that corpse. A treasure that could provoke a battle amongst several Supreme Beings was extremely rare. At the level of Supreme Beings, every action was an embodiment of the universal truths, with no need for external objects. That corpse? Qikuan Star Lord pondered for a moment. Seeing this, Lin Yuan also appeared attentive. The chaotic flows in the void outside the worlds, depending on their intensity, can be divided into different regions. The chaotic void outside the Immortal Tao world where Lin Yuan had traversed for the 5th time wasn't too harsh, allowing those with 7th rank strength to barely survive. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 327. Even so, Lin Yuan was reluctant to stray too far from the Immortal Tao world, needing to return from time to time for rest. As for the chaotic void outside of the main world, battlefield C24763, Lin Yuan observed the eternal spatial rift and inferred that its intensity was far greater than that of the Immortal Tao world. The grayish aura of utter destruction made Lin Yuan's scalp tingle. Indeed, it was as he thought. Lin Yuan perused the Red Kuan lineage's information. Even the Qikuan Star Lord, an invincible evolver of the 8th layer, dared not enter the spatial rift casually. And that otherworldly visitor's corpse, able to withstand the chaotic void and enter the main world, maintaining its form in death and not being torn apart, is quite unfathomable. Keep in mind, on large alien battlefields, although otherworldly visitors often come through spatial rifts, they are alive, employing various methods and even treasures and weapons to resist the erosion of the chaotic void. But to rely on nothing else, using only bodily strength to withstand the chaotic void outside the main world, how strong must that body be? I don't have much insight into this, Phoebnol. Si Sigma said the Qikuan Star Lord, shaking his head. The secrets of that corpse, he estimated, were known only to the Supreme Beings and a few top-tier diviners. I see. The third senior brother felt somewhat disappointed. He had thought his teacher would know some insider information. All right. You all may leave. Prepare yourselves, for it's time for a counterattack from our human civilization. The Qikuan Star Lord waved his hand. Yes. The senior brothers nodded, turning to leave the Crimson Hall. Yes. Lin Yuan was also planning to leave. At that moment, the voice of the Qikuan Star Lord rang out next to his ear. My good disciple, stay behind. In the Crimson Hall, only Lin Yuan and the Qikuan Star Lord remained. The Qikuan Star Lord looked at Lin Yuan, his thoughts filled with sentiment. Before meeting Lin Yuan, the Qikuan Star Lord believed that teaching a disciple was an extremely difficult task. Different disciples have different traits, either strengths or weaknesses, and one must tailor their teaching methods accordingly. Only by doing so could one possibly maximize the potential of a disciple. But tailoring one's teaching, while easy to say, is extremely hard in practice. The Qikuan Star Lord's great reputation for educating disciples was built on this principle. Then he met Lin Yuan. For the first time, the Qikuan Star Lord felt that teaching a disciple was not so difficult. In fact, it was quite easy. Since he had taken Lin Yuan as his disciple, he hadn't done much, yet the latter was already at the 7th rank. Logically speaking, after you stepped into the 6th rank, I would have given you some treasures, the Qikuan Star Lord said. For evolvers, the 6th rank is a critical period. The 12 Peak Masters also received the gifts prepared by the Qikuan Star Lord when they were at the 6th rank. This was the teacher's way of looking after his disciples. But your cultivation speed was too fast. Before I had even decided on a gift, you reached the 7th rank. The Qikuan Star Lord spoke with a tone of helplessness. Gifts too need to be custom-made. What is treasured at the 6th rank might not hold as much value once one reaches the 7th rank. Teacher? Lin Yuan blinked his eyes. In truth, he had already been restraining his speed of reaching the 7th rank. Had it not been for his desire to forge a perfect 7th-stage chapter, Lin Yuan could have breached the 7th rank half a year ago, right after his 5th shuttle. Now that you are at the 7th rank, under normal circumstances, I should prepare a 7th layer treasure for you, but I feel that you won't stay long at the 7th rank, at most a few hundred years. Given that, a 7th rank treasure might not be of much help to you. How much can it really assist you in a few hundred years? The Qikuan Star Lord said, shaking his head. So this time, I intend to take care of everything in one go. Be it the 6th rank, 7th rank, or even your eventual 8th rank, I'll account for them all. The Chiquan Star Lord flipped his hand, and a fist-sized, irregular metal floated in the air. This block of irregular metal, merely upon its appearance, began to subtly influence its surroundings, even causing the forces of space itself to slowly undulate. What is this? Lin Yuan observed carefully. That piece of irregular metal had a very special feeling, stirring an uncontrollable desire within him. To possess it. Obtain it. I must obtain it. Oh. Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred slightly. The numerous distracting thoughts quickly dissipated. This object. Lin Yuan looked at it in astonishment, and just by watching it for a while he was influenced. This irregular piece of metal was somewhat inconceivable. This object is called Origin Fine Gold. Back in the day, to obtain it, I, among several other alien strong ones, fought for hundreds of years. If I hadn't made a timely retreat back to the human civilization territory, it probably would have provoked a 9th rank alien race to take action. Your journey continues on, the Chiquan Star Lord said with a smile. This, Lin Yuan couldn't help but hold his breath. The Chiquan Star Lord was an invincible existence of the 8th layer. What is meant by invincible of the 8th layer? It does not mean that the Chiquan Star Lord has no opponents at the 8th layer, but rather that at this level in one-on-one combat, no one could utterly defeat him. Of course, this isn't entirely accurate. If an evolver of the 8th layer wielded supreme weapons, the Chiquan Star Lord would likely have to flee. But how many supreme weapons are there? And the Chiquan Star Lord would just be fleeing, not falling. When the Chiquan Star Lord speaks of fighting several other 8th layer alien strong ones for hundreds of years, this undoubtedly means these alien strong ones too were invincible beings of the 8th layer. To compel such invincible beings of the 8th layer to fight desperately, and even ultimately attract the attention of a 9th rank alien race. Keep in mind, the 9th rank alien race is basically equivalent to the highest combat power of powerful clans, below only the peak clans. Teacher, this is too precious. I can't accept it. Although Lin Yuan didn't know what Origin Fine Gold was, just by listening to the Chiquan Star Lord's description, he knew that the value of this object definitely reached the 9th rank level. Though the Origin Fine Gold is precious, it is of little use to me now. The Chiquan Star Lord shook his head as he spoke. What he longed for now was to step into the 9th rank. As for the Origin Fine Gold, indeed, if he invested the required heart force, he could indeed boost his combat power by a fraction or two. But being invincible at the 8th layer already, advancing his combat power by a fraction or two carried no practical significance. Against other invincible strong ones of the 8th layer, he would still not be able to win. Then I thank you, teacher. Lin Yuan said with slight gratitude. The rule crystal the Chiquan Star Lord had previously given him could let an evolver comprehend the fire system rules embedded within. A rule crystal was part of the Chiquan Star Lord's collection. Gifting it to Lin Yuan was a trivial matter. But the Origin Fine Gold, just from Lin Yuan's first impression, it far surpassed the rule crystal. The Origin Fine Gold is a growth-oriented treasure, best nurtured at the 7th rank. Its most precious quality, aside from its growth potential, is its malleability. Disciple, when you nurture the Origin Fine Gold, you can shape it according to your will, turning it into offensive weapons, defensive weapons, and so on. The Chiquan Star Lord continued. Theoretically speaking, the upper limit of the Origin Fine Gold depends on the evolver's own limits. If you step into the 8th layer in the future, you could elevate the quality of the Origin Fine Gold to the 8th layer. If you manage to break through to the 9th rank, it can be further improved. The Chiquan Star Lord looked at Lin Yuan. He felt somewhat relieved. This time there was no need to worry about Lin Yuan's cultivation speed being too fast. The specific methods of nurturing the Origin Fine Gold will be sent to you by mail by me, detailing the instructions, said the Chiquan Star Lord. Yes. Lin Yuan nodded. Next. The Chiquan Star Lord's thoughts stirred slightly. The irregular metal floating in front of him flew towards Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan raised his hand to catch it. This sensation? Lin Yuan inwardly marveled. On the surface, the Origin Fine Gold appeared to be metal, and thus should be extremely hard. However, once in his hands, Lin Yuan's first impression of the Origin Fine Gold was that it was soft and squishy. It felt like a ball that would dent inward with a bit of pressure. It's truly marvelous. Lin Yuan kept observing it, constantly touching. All right then. Go back and study it, said the Chiquan Star Lord, waving his hand. If there's anything you don't understand, you can come to me. Yes. Lin Yuan put away the Origin Fine Gold and turned to leave the Red Palace. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Phantom Sword Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.